This is the My Dimension program. I'm here with Steven Stump, my esteemed colleague. His open fantasy show is about to join the Player Profiler Network, and so we're excited to talk to him about fantasy football, about Dynasty, about best ball, about everything. There are some teams, especially in our building of this world-famous draft kit that is available on playerprofiler.com/draft kit. In the building of this incredible tool, we have found some teams in particular. The team previews are incredibly detailed and incredibly rich with the information that you need to kill your drafts, to absolutely destroy. And there's a handful of these teams where it's like, wow, the players in these teams that are enjoying consolidated target distributions. They are way undervalued in fantasy. There's teams like the Colts. There's teams like the Titans. The Saints,
the Packers,
a lot of teams in the South, and we're going to cover all of that coming up next. We're just going to get right to it. We're just going to jump right in, get right to it. But before we talk about all these teams in the South that are the keys to victory in fantasy football, we had some news. It's not really breaking news. It came out yesterday, and it was like breaking news that would in years past would have been a bigger deal. But now we as fantasy gamers are being trained to not jump to conclusions, especially after this Josh Jacobs incident where, okay, Josh Jacobs tanks, and then we just wait a week, and then he corrects, and then we wait another week, and he corrects some more, and then a couple of weeks later, it's like it never happened. So we are learning how to handle the incidents that happen off the field and what are the key data points that would suggest a suspension versus, it's going to be business as usual. And so I guess this is technically breaking news, but not really breaking. It's something to talk about, but no one really cares.
Yeah. Exactly.
Geno Smith was investigated after a domestic incident occurred, and the police showed up, and he wasn't wearing a shirt, and he gave them some information, and they closed the case.
Yeah. Not wearing a shirt at home. How dare he? The audacity.
Yep.
No, I think we kind of knew it wasn't going to be anything when it happened. It was just kind of a puff piece at the time. Just news while there's nothing going on right now. I don't think it really changes the Geno Smith scenario, but I'd like to know your thoughts on it as well.
I don't think it changes whether or not I'm going to draft him. He is a value. Like, that's the thing. Like, he doesn't stop being a value just because, he
doesn't.
Was brought in or the police came and questioned him. We've learned not to jump to conclusion. I think this is the first year really where we are I think have properly calibrated where the league is versus where law enforcement is versus where the players are, and where those friction points are, and when games could be missed by a player. A lot of the news that comes out is shocking at first. Right. You hear about the incidents, hair was pulled, this and that. It's like, oh, wow, this sounds like a really violent episode. I'm sure it makes sense. It's logical. Something's going to happen to this guy.
Yeah.
And then nothing happens to him.
Yeah. And it usually doesn't. I mean, I think a lot of it gets blown a little bit out of proportion just because it's in the public eye. It needs to be something to talk about during the off season. But I mean, it doesn't change if I'm drafting them. For redraft formats, I'm not drafting them probably anywhere at all, unless it's, later in the season, you're looking for like plugins at places, but that's about it. I don't really have eyes on Geno Smith as a redraft quarterback this year.
Why not?
Mostly just upside. I know we know what Geno Smith is going to be at this point. If you want, 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns, it's okay. Like, I'm okay with quarterback 12. But I'm not expecting top 5 finishes, and I want to win championships, and you don't do it with 10th ranked quarterbacks.
Fourth? So you think his ultimate ceiling, what you're saying is his ultimate absolute ceiling, the best you'll possibly get, is 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. So, meh.
Roughly. I mean, it's not nothing to sneeze at, but that was peak MVP caliber Geno Smith. So he needs to get back to peak caliber, and I don't see that happening. That's why I'm kind of down on the Geno Smith scenario.
Geno Smith is going to have some pretty interesting weapons to throw to.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
Right. I mean, you have Garrett Wilson, you have Adonai Mitchell, who he's developed incredible chemistry with. You haven't heard a lot about Omar Cooper Jr., which is interesting. There's very little talk about Omar Cooper Jr. It's been all Adonai Mitchell, of course, Garrett Wilson. But Garrett Wilson, Adonai Mitchell, Garrett Wilson, Adonai Mitchell. Then he has Kenyon Sadiq to go with Mason Taylor. So they got the 12 personnel covered. So if you're going to be playing Sadiq and Taylor, and there's this great chemistry with Adonai Mitchell out playing X, and Garrett Wilson's best position is playing Z, where does Omar Cooper Jr. fit in the offseason? I'm not sure. But Geno Smith on a team that's going to be losing a lot of games. He's going to be going back and throwing, and he can throw short and intermediate to Sadiq, to even Garrett Wilson, certainly to Breece Hall, and then can go deep over the top to Adonai Mitchell. There is upside there in best ball, where we're drafting 2 or 3 quarterbacks.
The best ball I like,
Then he actually makes a lot of sense. And these are these are some of the least expensive stacks that exist, especially one of my favorite stacks is Geno Smith, Adonai Mitchell. I mean, that is the ultimate backdoor stack. Both these guys are undervalued. And he has, the bottom line is, what I think is important to note is that he has that in his range of outcomes, right? You were like, I'm not that interested in it. But I was like, more like, wait a second, let's remind the people that this guy once upon a time had over 4,000 yards twice.
Yeah.
And then one year he had 30 touchdowns, which is not going to happen again. That was an outlier season. That was an outlier touchdown rate. 18.5 fantasy points per game. He's not going to do that, like you said.
No, that was crazy.
No, he's not going to do that. But QB 12, right? If you average that season, 2022, with his 2024 season, then that would be exactly QB 12. Like you're not wrong at all. That is his ceiling. He certainly has these other outcomes, like 12.7 fantasy points per game. That also needs to be discussed, but that was on a completely dysfunctional team with an injured Brock Bowers, the worst receivers in the league in Las Vegas. I'm throwing that out. And I'm sticking with just average 2022, 2023, and 2024. And we're talking 17 fantasy points a game. That is very much possible with these weapons. And in best ball and in deep leagues, not a 12-team league, I'm with you. Right? A 12-team single quarterback league, no. But any super flex league, he has a great third quarterback option. He goes incredibly late, Dynasty startups. I was like thinking I had
16th round right now, isn't he?
Yeah, I thought I evaluated all the different rounds where starting quarterbacks are going, where they're all slotting in. Then I was like, oh wait, I got scrolling to get to Geno Smith. What is this about?
That part. And I have here in my notes, Matt, that in deeper super flex leagues, he's definitely a valuable asset. I just said it's grimy to try and take him because the name's not sexy, but he'll get you points and he has a floor. So
grind this
value
grind this. I think the Jets are one of these keys. The Jets, Garrett Wilson, great option this year. Adonai Mitchell, great option this year. Breece Hall, great option. I also like Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis as deep stashes in Dynasty. Not necessarily, again, not seasonal leagues necessarily. Deep seasonal leagues, though. Like if you're talking about FFPC, you're talking about deep leagues where people are loading up on running back, especially in the later rounds. They're stocking their bench with all running backs, especially in managed leagues. That's the big difference between managed leagues and best ball leagues, is that the best ball leagues, your bench is primarily wide receivers. In managed leagues, your bench is primarily running backs. So as the rounds tick by, round 17, round 18, round 19, suddenly Braylon Allen becomes very attractive. Suddenly Isaiah Davis becomes very attractive. Now, Braylon Allen was reportedly 250 pounds. We've seen Brandon Jacobs and other running backs play at that weight and be successful. He's also taller, so he will be able to carry that weight. Derrick Henry is 250 pounds. So we have seen this before. It has, players have been productive and they haven't looked like a mobile home going down the highway.
That part, yeah.
Been productive. So I'm not concerned about, I'm really not concerned about it. Like, he has the frame, and he's one of these outlier, jumbo running backs that could be very effective, even at a heavier weight. So I'm not discounting Braylon Allen. I still have him as the RB2 in New York, but it's close. Like, Isaiah Davis is almost as good. And I like targeting those running backs like a Jarquez Hunter. He's almost as good as Blake Corum.
Yeah.
So there's some of these RB3s that you can target in those later rounds, even in seasonal leagues, when you get, if they're deep enough where you can go ahead and just stockpile these RB3s that are actually on par with their talent profiles with the RB2. And then if there's just one injury, right? Injury to Corum, then, or Williams, then Kyron Williams, then suddenly Jarquez Hunter is a factor. Even if there's an injury just to Braylon Allen, suddenly Isaiah Davis is a factor. So you start to add it up. Isaiah Davis, Braylon Allen, Adonai Mitchell, Garrett Wilson. Even if you don't include even if you don't include Geno Smith as an option, as a value play, you're still talking about 4 players. Actually, no. Breece Hall. I think Breece Hall is a value. You think Breece Hall is a value as ADP
Breece
right
Hall, absolutely. I love Breece Hall value this year. I am fully on board the Breece Hall train. So you can sign me up for that one.
So why are you so into Breece Hall?
So with the not high on Geno's ceiling, but I love the stability that he brings to that offense and what he'll be able to do for every other piece there. And you just named off all the names. And what Breece does exceptionally well.
You're not like out over your skis on Geno Smith, but you're like the presence of Geno Smith as a sort of abstraction, right? We don't have to have him on our fantasy team or anything. We don't have to worry about him and really dissect whether or not we want to draft him or Daniel Jones.
Yeah,
forget that for a second. Put that off to just put that over here. He makes the whole offense better. He's lifting all the boats.
Yep. Absolutely. That was what I took from him. That's how I see him as a player as well. And that's kind of what he's done to every team. They bring him in to be a role filler, and he elevates them to the next season to get them to where they need to be.
It just kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. I like to spin it forward and think it through.
Yeah.
Okay. We're in December. Isn't it like one of the more obvious things that Geno Smith comes in? They finally don't have this, mobile quarterback with a weak arm trying to make things happen back there. They just have a competent pocket passer who's going to dump it off, is going to be looking for Breece Hall, is going to be playing, play action. Just a lot more traditional plays being run. And a lot of that would be to the benefit of Breece Hall. It just makes sense.
Yep, absolutely. That's what I saw too. Yeah. So I am full aboard the Breece Hall train.
Yes. Thank you.
Especially good. What's his ADP? Like in the 4th round this year? It's ridiculous.
It's too late.
It is such a value. Yeah.
It's too late. Yep. So we're talking about up to 6 players on this team that you're drafting with confidence. And the fact you could barely say that about maybe 2 guys on the Jets in previous years. And that's the benefit of having a pocket passer that is competent and has a history of 4,000-yard seasons.
Correct. Yep. Yeah. And another thing is that there's not a timeshare in that room as much as we think it is. It's the Breece Hall show over there. I think we kind of forgot about that last year. But this is a running back who works 3-down role going in the 4th round. And we're taking rookie running backs and second-year people over him. Like, this is a proven commodity in fantasies, and he's going to get you PPR work. He's going to get you touchdown work, hopefully, if this offense even is average. So, like I said, all aboard Breece Hall this year.
All right. If you had to pick, okay.
Yep.
You had to do it. I hate to do it, but I have to pick. I'm going to ask you. Breece Hall or Cam Scatterbo?
Breece Hall. I want the PPR value.
You want but there's also a lot of PPR value with Scatterbo.
There is. Oh, man.
Scatterbo's kind of drafting. Awesome.
Yeah, especially, and he gets a round discount as well. I might be higher on Scatterbo because of the 1-round discount, the uptick in offense we should see in New York this year with Jackson Dart and everything. I liked what I saw last year. That's why I drafted Malik Neighbors, unfortunately, but I think it's just a continuation of what we saw in a progression. So it's what I saw in New England last year going into the 2025 season is kind of what I see in New York this year, where they're a playoff potential team with a solid defense. And I think we're all kind of sleeping on them a little bit.
I'm looking at the Player Profiler season rankings right now. They're fully up to date. We've had with the season rankings, the best ball rankings, and the dynasty rankings. Just in the last few weeks, we've had an incredible sort of influx of data, information, voices in the room. I've asserted myself more. These are you're gonna. I think if you haven't checked them out recently, checking out our player rankings on PlayerProfiler.com, I think a lot of you will be pleasantly surprised where we have some players slotted in, because a lot of you we're on the same page. How we evaluate some of these players.
Yep, you're plugged in.
So we have Breece Hall as RB14 and Cam Skattebo as RB16, which I like.
So
I like. We have them both ahead of Williams, both ahead of Josh Jacobs, Travis Etienne. We're high on them. We're high on these guys, man.
Yeah,
these are players we like. I don't particularly like the Giants' offense. I think the benefit for Skattebo this year is they're just going to be very run heavy, and there's not weapons, and then so they're going to run the ball more, so he's going to have more carries, and then they're going to dump the ball off more, and so he's going to have more targets. And he's up for it. He's up for it. Like
losing Brian Daboll is going to hurt that offense a little bit.
We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see how valuable Brian Daboll is. I don't think he's that valuable. So they had a softball game. It was a charity softball game. Neighbors was out there. Cam Skattebo was out there. Neighbors hit the ball, ran to first, and he was clearly running in a sensitive way. Right? I'm not saying he was limping, but he had a hitch. He had a hitch in his gait. He clearly wasn't putting full weight on both legs. Meanwhile, Skattebo's out there hitting home runs, doing backflips, showing off that he's 100% healthy, and he's ready to dominate. And I'm excited. I think the players I want on this team are both running backs. I want Skattebo. If I don't get Skattebo, I actually want Tyrone Tracy, because there's going to be so many touches for running backs in this offense that Tyrone Tracy and his all-purpose skill set, he's going to have weeks.
Yeah, the only thing that would scare me with the running back situation is Jackson Dart and the touchdowns he's going to steal. But that would be the only thing that would scare me away.
That is the open-ended question.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. I don't know how much he's going to run this year. I know a lot of people think that they could just take last year, copy and paste all the rushing from Jackson Dart. So. I don't think so. I think last year he was a rookie. His brain was scrambled when he's dropping back, looking around, didn't know what the hell he was looking at, didn't know what he was supposed to see, where he was supposed to go with the ball. So what does he do? He pulls it down and runs. Now,
rookie behavior.
The offense has been his for a year. He will have been, he's fully acclimated to the league, and he has a full off season to, process this new playbook and get it uploaded and get acclimated. And I just think offensive coordinators are not going to want him to run at the same rate that he did last year. I don't think that's repeatable, and that's one of the reasons why I'm not drafting any Jackson Dart. In fact,
not with his ADP this year, no.
In superflex, in Dynasty and season-long superflex, not best ball, not going that far, but season-long superflex, Dynasty superflex, Jameis Winston. If you're going to tell me that there's a sophomore quarterback out there, he's not a top 10 pick, but man, does he have guile. Damn, does he have gumption. Like, he's getting out there, he's extending plays, he's making things happen. What oftentimes happens to those particular quarterbacks?
They tend to go down a little bit, start limping around week 6. Jameis is warming up on the sidelines. He's got the jacket on, cracking jokes. He's ready to go, baby.
I mean, he's been in commercials, man.
Oh, I love it, man. Jameis he needs to be the face of the franchise at this point.
This guy cleans up well, man. Like, he is leaning in. He's like, I have some weird behavior on my resume.
I mean, that's just good people right there, man.
Right there, there's some clips of me not being the most sophisticated face of a franchise.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to lean into it. And we're going to eat some W's on camera. And we're going to be tongue in cheek about it. And big public brands are going to pay a lot to have me be their spokesman.
Yeah, especially down here in Duval, man. We've been cracking crab leg jokes since 2010. So I get it.
I love to see that. I love to see that he's built for New York, that he's already a spokesman for brands. I'm like, there's not many backup quarterbacks that are showing up in World Cup commercials.
Yeah.
Think about that. And then I'm like, well, what do you think is going to happen with Jackson Dart this year? And so all of a sudden, like, things are clicking, and I'm like, in every Superflex Dynasty League in particular, I want Jameis Winston.
I was just getting ready to spin it back to that. I said, especially in Superflex where quarterbacks go early and often, to be able to pick up Jameis Winston, who's a proven value. He can do it, and he throws big yards. I don't care about 4 touchdowns. If you're going to score me 5 and 450 throwing yards, and you're getting them for nothing, you're going to pick them up in the back end of drafts because people are going to forget about them.
We were having a conversation today. The player profiler analytics team. So I've created this meeting of the minds, this analytics team. We get together, talk about, we super into the minutia about exactly the target share distributions for certain teams and how that might affect the season long projections and the dynasty lifetime values. And it's totally geeked out conversation that I live for.
I was about to say, that's that nerd stuff I like right there.
And I was like, okay, we were talking about when to draft your third quarterback in a Superflex Dynasty startup.
Yep.
And I tend to draft my third quarterback early so I can have 3 starters. And that player becomes
a mindset I'm in as well.
That player becomes a tradable asset, a much more tradable, much more liquid asset to be dealt during the season because they're producing. Whether it be Jacoby Brissett, whether it be Geno Smith, a guy that I'll pay a couple extra rounds. I'll move up a couple extra rounds and draft a QB3 or a QB4 there rather than waiting for the pure backups, a few rounds later. So, for example, I threw this strategy out there. I was like, I think I might need to go draft my third quarterback, and Evan Ringler and Bradley Stalder were like, you don't need to. You can always draft like 3 or 4 just pure backups, knowing one of them is gonna play. And Bradley Stalder's like Riley Leonard. Riley Leonard likes to get after it. Riley Leonard is like the bankrupt man's version of Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Right. So and so that guy's gonna at least generate some fantasy production for you, even if he's not
points on the border.
The Colts offense. And I was like, okay, interesting. I'm writing this down. I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I of course I volunteered Mac Jones because that's the easiest one. That's by far and away the easiest one. You're like, this guy's gonna get, and then of course Tyson Bagent.
Yeah,
right? Tyson Bagent. He signed that extension just to make sure he has the money for his family. Signed like a nice little 2-year extension, undrafted. They didn't want to lose him. They didn't want him to roll off the roster, so they signed him for a small. He's like, but I only want a couple of years. You can pay me a fair rate, but then I'm gonna hit the open market.
Friendly price. Yep.
Right. So Tyson Bagent's gonna hit the open market as early as next year.
And we've seen him provide.
Teams are gonna bid for him. There are teams waiting to bid for Tyson Bagent. They want him to be their starting quarterback. He had very much as like a discount Trevor Lawrence vibe, where he has the size, he has the flowing locks, he has the scramble ability, not necessarily like full QB rushing ability, but he has tactical scrambling capability and a big arm. And I think there's going to be multiple teams bidding for Tyson Bagent soon. So I'm like, okay, Jones and Bagent for sure. Who else? And then Riley Leonard, I was like, okay, Riley Leonard's fun and I get it. And I'm here for it. I'm going to pick him up. No question. I want him in Superflex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I need one more. And then like after a beat, someone said, well, dude, Jameis Winston. And then I was like, oh my.
Yeah.
You're so right. Oh my God.
Crap. Yeah.
How was that not more top of mind?
A light bulb.
I mean,
you said it. I had the same reaction. Like, I think you saw how excited I got when you mentioned his name. I was like, you're right. It is Jameis Winston. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
I was someone's like Jameis Winston. And then in my head, I was like, that's it. Right. Yep. Jameis Winston.
Uh-huh. Perfect.
Boom. So that's the list of players that I want on the Giants. It's Scadaboo, Tyrone Tracy, and Jameis Winston. There's my list. There's my list. Other teams that are consolidated that I think are great sources of value. Most of them we talked about in the South. Tennessee Titans, especially now that there's concerns around Cam Ward's accuracy in camp.
There have been. I mean, we did see him throw 7 interceptions last year. There have been some reports that he's been a little inaccurate. I'm not listening too much though. I mean, it's kind of still early in the preseason, everything like that. It's training camp. It's summer days. Like, I think he'll get it ironed out. It's not a concern right now, but I'm a dog, so I always got my ears listening. If it's still August and we're hearing the same things, then it's going to be an issue. Then the mailman's coming and it's time to bark at the door. So, but right now we're just kind of sitting in the sun listening. So we're good right now.
We're not going to internalize at all Cam Ward's accuracy issues. Robert Saleh admits Cam Ward has accuracy issues. This is on playerprofiler.com/news.
Yep.
We are acknowledging this. We are acknowledging that he has been erratic, that he is working on things. That's what you do.
That part.
That is what you do. This is what I tell my daughter all the time when we're practicing whatever sport it is. I'm like, this is when you experiment. This is when you make mistakes here so you don't make them out there.
Exactly. And that's why you go through 2-a-days in the summer and not during September and October, November. You get this stuff out of the way now. I mean, that's you expect it. It's expected at this time of the year. Like, we haven't even started scheduling, camps yet. So we'll be excited. Like, I think by the time the end of July rolls around and August starts, we'll be okay.
We're gonna be fine. Cam Ward is a smash. Take the discount.
I hope so.
Cam Ward is a smash. And I also like that we're not hearing a lot about our man Carnell Tate. It's been a lot about Wan'Dale Robinson. Wan'Dale Robinson, he's gonna get another 100 receptions.
Yeah,
he's gonna command 150 targets on that team with Carnell Tate. There's no way.
No,
there's no way.
Maybe
I love me some Wan'Dale Robinson. Wan'Dale Robinson, and I remember talking about this last year where I was like, okay, so guy gets 140 targets and we're just going to not draft him. What are we doing? Right. And then sure enough, as it turns out, like the league low yards per target he had posted in 2024 magically became something much closer to league average. And suddenly he's putting up 1,000 yards and he was wide receiver 14. Wan'Dale Robinson, wide receiver 14.
I mean, this is a guy we've had our eyes on for 3-4 years now since he's been drafted. It's just been injury after injury after injury. But to be able to see him actually like produce at a high level, it was nice to see. And this is a guy that I see him being very popular to start the first 4 to 6 weeks until Carnell Tate takes that rollover, because that's what's going to happen. Tate's the better receiver. Yep. I mean, we see it all the time where rookies, it takes them the first half of the season before they start finding their footing, finding routes to run, before they get comfortable in an offense. That's why I like targeting rookies in any format, like mid-season. Maybe you get dum-dums who, don't have the patience to keep them on their bench, but you believe in the upside. And like, that's why I like targeting those rookies around that time. And that's what I see happening too.
I just took Carnell Tate in the mid-3rd round of a Dynasty superflex startup. I am incredibly bullish on Carnell Tate. We, as Player Profiler, when you go to our rankings, when you go to our season rankings, best ball rankings, especially Dynasty rankings, you might be surprised of how high up we have Carnell Tate. You have to see it to believe it. And the reason is because this is a top 5 pick megastar.
Yes.
Who would have posted cartoonish video game, right? Video game, cartoon video game, both, not just cartoon, not just video game, cartoon video game. He would have, that's the level he would have got to if he had that offense to himself at Ohio State.
Oh yeah.
And if he had gone to another team, where he was the best receiver, I don't know where he would have. How would he have been the 101? Like,
yeah.
he's even sharing the field with Jeremiah Smith, he still was a top 5 pick. Why was he a top 5 pick without the top 5 production? Like, most top 5 picks have more production in college than Carnell Tate did in his final year, because the scouting report,
that part,
all those NFL teams have the scouting report on Carnell Tate.
Yep.
They have the production he did in the context of, Jeremiah Smith is also on the field. And then this is the scouting report, the strengths and weaknesses of Carnell Tate. Dude, he has the size. He has the incredible quickness. He has a lot of these like Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb level skills. He has like CeeDee Lamb level athleticism, but more on like a Justin Jefferson frame.
Yeah. Yep. No, I like him a lot. And we brought it up on the show last week, where this was a kid that's a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, was highly recruited by Ohio State, and then was overshadowed his entire career there by Marvin Harrison and Jeremiah Smith, and still went as a top 3 pick. This just speaks to like how much Brian Hartline has built and developed that wide receiver room. And that's why it's, wide receiver room, or wide receiver U to this day, and it's taken over. It's because they're producing high value talent out of that university.
You see some wacky stuff happening in startups, man. I'm seeing Nico Collins going ahead of Carnell Tate. I'm like, how long do you think it's going to take for Carnell Tate's consensus dynasty ranking to overtake Nico Collins?
Yeah, it's
going to happen just like that.
I love Nico Collins.
Man. I mean, you're right. You're going to have this little buy window. This is going to be like a crack of a buy window. Weeks 1, 2, 3, the month of September. You're going to get Wan'Dale Robinson targets. But there's going to be some Wan'Dale Robinson 10-target games. And there's going to be some games where Carnell Tate's really not a factor. And if you don't get him in that little window, especially in seasonal leagues,
that's
what we're talking about. Like in Dynasty, everyone was like, yeah, all right, dude, you're not getting Carnell Tate. Shut up.
No.
Right?
We need to wait another 2 years.
He was, a mid-level producer, and he wasn't elite for this first 3 games. I'm not just going to punt off Carnell Tate in Dynasty, bruh. But you're right. You're so right. In seasonal leagues, I think even in high stakes, you could see this happening. I mean,
people start getting worried.
Stakes like FFPC, but you're talking about like big money leagues with trades. You could see Carnell Tate getting moved, and I want to be on the receiving end of Carnell Tate over and over and over and over and over again. That sounded really bad. I know that sounded really bad. That sounded incredibly bad.
It's okay. It happens.
It sounded bad. I can't. It sounded bad. Listen, when we talk about Jeremiah Smith, we're talking about teammate score. If we're talking about teammate score, we're talking about the breakout finder. Here's more about it. It was many years ago at this point that Nate Liss said, hey, we should do an AI system that pulls all this data on prospects and actually calculates the probability, the most precise probability that any given prospect, wide receiver, running back is going to break out. So we did it. It's called the Breakout Finder. It's in the App Store. It's on Google Play. It's $5 for this year's class. Next year's class is $5. It's just every year it's $5 to know the most precise probability that any given player is going to break out, as well as additional Breakout Finder specific metrics like dynamic score, teammate score. If you're trying to build a super team in Dynasty, or you just want to do well in your rookie draft, there's no better use of $5 in the Breakout Finder. All right, so that's the Titans. Pretty much Cam Ward, Carnell Tate. That Cam Ward, Carnell Tate stack is interesting. Yeah. Gunnar Helm is young. Gunnar Helm is a tight end no one talks about, but he's 23 years old.
Talked about plenty over here last week. Yep, we talked about him.
What did you talk about?
Well, 23 years old, like you said, he's going to see. This is an offense that we expect to, take a big step forward, and that's why we have so many of these guys as sleepers or breakout values or anything like that. And there's nowhere else for the middle of the field. It's this is it, Gunnar Helm territory, man. He has the talent. He's big. He's explosive. He can catch. So I know in our other team, like he's on our Dynasty League, he's our tight end, locked and loaded, ready to go as our tight end 1 right now. So we will see how that turns out. But I like the shots, especially with these younger tight ends the last couple of years.
I have a really big question. It's a position battle that I'm going to be watching closely. And, you know, I'm going to be posting on Patreon, patreon.com/podfather. Very soon, I'm going to be posting my top 20 camp battles to watch. And I don't know if this is going to make the top 20, but this is in there. This is close. And I think there's some value to be unlocked here because it's going to be a losing team. They're going to be playing from behind. Their pass rate's going to be high. And if Cam Ward can take that step forward, like he's trying all these new things, he's experimenting, he's working on his footwork, his strength, his conditioning. They've talked about, there's been reports about all these aspects of being a professional athlete that he's embraced and he's been working on. I'm really excited about it.
Yep, the breadcrumbs they keep laying out, and I keep picking them up. So
the wide receiver 3 there, right? Yep. I believe Carnell Tate will play X. I think Carnell Tate wants to play X. He's going to be X. And I think that's part of the reason he's not going to produce right away, because he's going to be going up against alpha corners and he's going to have to figure out how to pick the lock. But eventually he will figure out how to solve these alpha corners on the left side out at X. And, you know, Wandale is going to be in the slot. And the question is, who's going to be playing Z? They have a prototypical Z in Alec Eomaner, and he had a nice profile coming into the league where he's above average workouts across the board and was productive at Stanford, 40.1% college dominator rating. He or Chimere Dike are going to be the wide receiver 3, and they're both very similar. Dike is more of a vertical threat. Eomaner is more of a traditional, like all around intermediate flanker.
Yeah. Yep. But no, that's exactly what we saw too. They need another option out there, and it's going to be a pretty balanced offense, I think. So their targets shouldn't be crazy, but I mean, he's going to get consolidated target work because he can catch the ball, man. He can catch the ball.
So who do you like?
I'm on the Gunnar Helm train, man. I want the targets. Targets win all day.
That's not an answer.
No.
We know that Gunnar Helm is the starting tight end that a lot of people don't even know. Like, who is the starting tight end over there? Oh, Jesus.
Are you asking for the backup tight end?
Is it Dan Bellinger? No, he's the backup. Is it Chikakonku? No, he's in Washington now. Yeah. It's actually Gunnar Helm, and Gunnar Helm was pretty productive. There is a chance that the pass volume for the Tennessee Titans is top 10 this year. Like, if they can find a way to put all their trust in Cam Ward, if Cam Ward can earn it, especially in the summer, throughout the summer, and they could be like, yeah, listen, we're turning this offense over to him, and we're going to dial up the pass rate, and we're going to see what happens, especially because look at their running game. But it's not like they have even Cam Scatterbo back there. Right? So look at the personnel, and you look at the team situation, look at the defense, and you look at the backfield. Okay, a team with a below average defense that's rebuilding with, you know, a young stud back in Nicholas Singleton, but he's a 5th round rookie.
Yeah.
And then you have a Tony Pollard who's well past the age apex holding on. And then you have like a Tajay Spears who's playing for a new contract, but there's no studs here. There's no established studs here.
Exactly.
This feels like it could be one of these like prolific offenses, pass first offenses that Cam Ward can carry. It feels like this is one in the making, and therefore certainly Carnell Tate's a smash.
Absolutely.
Wandale's going to get there, right? Because you're working off last year's numbers which significantly influence his projection this year. I think he'll be able to just make it. I think if the offense was, you know, just moderately more productive this year than it was last year, I think that it'd be very difficult for Wandale to get there. But I think because the pie is just going to be so much bigger this year, yards, the touchdowns available, the catches available for the receivers in this passing game, Wandale will get there regardless. And then Gunnar Helm becomes interesting, and the wide receiver 3 becomes interesting because this is one of those few teams that does not have like a jumbo tight end set where you could see them going 13 personnel. No way, right? Gonna bring in Kyle Granson at that point? No, they have one of the the thinnest, least impressive, least talented tight end rooms in the NFL. And what does that mean? That means more 11 personnel. That means more 3 receiver sets. So this is one of those teams where knowing who the third receiver is really matters. I like Ayominor as that guy.
I do too. And that was the guy they leaned on last year as well. I mean, we saw a couple weeks where I think he had top 10 production a couple times, but he was a streaming value last year.
Yeah, I think that he is very sneaky. He is very sneaky in best ball, very sneaky in Dynasty. Ayominor is one of the sneakiest plays, and that's why that's a camp battle that I'm going to be very curious to see how it plays out. Is DK
and Calvin Ridley
Ayominor
coming off the injury, and he's not. Calvin Ridley's almost 32 years old now. It's another thing we have to think about.
Calvin Ridley's also in the mix.
Yeah.
How can Ridley possibly compete with Ayominor? He's not even close to the
name value. No,
just
he's there for name.
He's got the veteran deference.
Exactly. Yep.
That's it. But that's not enough, man.
I don't think that's not.
That's not enough. I'm not going. I don't believe that's enough.
And
I'm
especially
not drafting any Calvin Ridley
formats.
this year. No way.
Hell no. I want the upside. Like, I'll take the young kid who's going to give me a shot at, putting up 25, 30 points. So.
Did you see this news from the Ravens that Declan Doyle is a human computer?
I saw the little X blurb. Yeah, that was a fun little piece.
Okay. Did you take stock in it any? Did you process it? Did you internalize it? Are you changing anything about how you're viewing this team and how they're going to run the offense?
I mean, I take everything with a grain of salt. I think you kind of have to. It's a puff piece, but I think what it raised attention to was how they're going to use Zay Flowers this year. I mean, they already use them as kind of all over the field anyways, and just saying like how they're going to open up the offense, the things that's going to do for him as a player. I really like it for Zay a lot this year. Gives him more opportunity. But yeah.
When I see these kinds of news items, the one way I might process it, and I'm open to it, like I'm open, like it turns out Sean McVay, like he was an innovator.
Yeah.
Right. I mock the idea because it's almost always untrue and hyperbole. But in the case of Sean McVay, it was real. And so it's possible. I'm open to the possibility that this guy just has the next set of plays that's going to change the league and set trends. Could be him. It could be Declan Doyle. And if that's true, what typically happens is the best coordinators find a way to increase the touches for their best players.
Yep.
And that's Zay Flowers, man.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I saw as well. And I don't think it raises his value. Like, I'm not putting him 10 spots higher in my rankings or anything, but it's enough to keep an eye out and like maybe give it another month. You might move up a spot or two. But I like it for his
We're very, very high. I'll tell you right now where we have Zay Flowers in seasonal leagues. We have him incredible. I'll tell you in both. For seasonal leagues,
18.
Zay Flowers, wide receiver 14.
Yeah.
We have we have Zay Flowers ahead of Rashee Rice because he's better than Rashee Rice. He has a better all-around game than Rashee Rice. He has a more established role than Rashee Rice on a lot of levels. I don't understand how there's even a debate there. But of course, consensus rankings has Rashee Rice higher. We have him as wide receiver 13 in Dynasty.
Okay.
Ahead of guys like Ladd McConkey, ahead of Tet McMillan. You're in a lot of startups. Tet McMillan's going to go a round or two before Zay Flowers, and I would ask the question, why? Why? This is the thing. I got together with the player profiler team, Bradley. Why? Why Tet McMillan so high? No one can figure it out. I'm asking the question. At some point, someone in the industry was super bullish on Tet McMillan, and it is like carried over and it just carried on the momentum of it.
It's a conspiracy. That's what it is. It's a conspiracy. No. I wasn't a fan of Tetaroa coming out. I didn't like the production profile or his athletic build. It's not my type of receiver that I look for. So wasn't a fan. I didn't try to take any shares of him because as good as he is, if I'm not enjoying watching him on my fantasy roster, I'm not going to have him on my fantasy teams. So
that's perfectly fair.
Yeah.
All right. So if we talked about Tennessee earlier, the C word, right?
Uh-oh.
But there are other teams where you're hearing a little bit of C word. Right? You heard the C word. I heard it in Tampa. Heard about the C word in Los Angeles with the Rams. Washington, naturally. Washington.
Yeah, always.
New Orleans now. And not just Alvin Kamara, and Denver. So of all those teams I just listed, which one do you think is the least committee-like?
Oh, that's the Rams for sure.
So you think it's just going to be Kyren all over again, and those that have been steaming up Blake Corum, why?
McVay trusts Kyren Williams. We see his red zone usage. We see him in the end zone. Like, he's gonna get his work, but Kyron's gonna be the leader in that running back room. I mean, Sean McVay's trust goes a long way on that team, and has been doing it for the last 3 seasons. And he provides top 10 running back in fantasy formats year after year after year. And we keep dropping him in our rankings. He's always going 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, and he's a top 10 running back every year. Because we keep telling ourselves the same thing. It's like, oh, he's going to have to split work. He's not going to get as many targets. The red zone usage is going to go down. And he keeps outperforming these things. I'm fully trust Kyren Williams this year until I see otherwise.
It's interesting. In every draft I've done, in every team I have, dynasty team, whatever it is, at no point have I ever said, I got to get Blake Corum. I haven't.
Not unless it's like the 7th or 8th round and I went hero RB strategy. Like it's still rough then. Yeah. But it's Kyren Williams.
I don't think it's a good plan. And this idea that you're going to draft Blake Corum as a handcuff or, as a contingent value play that has some standalone value. He really doesn't. You never know when you're going to start him. There's going to be some random weeks. And you're like, oh, well, best ball, especially because you have that contingent value. Okay.
Best ball, I can see.
Maybe I can see it with best ball. And certainly what's cool about him, I mean, Blake Corum was awesome last year with explosive plays. Look at the explosive plays on Player Profiler. I mean, Blake Corum was back. He was back. And this is one of the reasons why he got on the field. Because if we show it right here, Blake Corum explosive plays number 4 in the NFL.
Yeah.
Look at that. His explosive play rating, number 2. Pretty amazing. This is why he has earned. This is why many think he's earned a bigger share of this offense. You're questioning that. You're like, listen, they have Kyren Williams. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Exactly. And that's the way that Sean McVay is going to play this. I have another take on this.
Okay.
Which is that if Kyren Williams gets hurt, I'm not sure what the touch distribution is going to be, because Jarquez Hunter is a very similar player to Blake Corum. Like, there's not a big difference between those two. They basically drafted Jarquez Hunter as a doppelganger of Blake Corum.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I wasn't saying that I don't like the Blake Corum value or the player this year. It's just for what I think it's going to be a timeshare pretty evenly, a little bit more Kyren in the red zone.
It's going to be more Kyren. It's definitely going to be more Kyren. You can't if you're doing projections, you can't project Kyren Williams to have an even distribution of touches.
No. It was probably 60-40
with Blake Corum. Yeah, you can't. No. Yeah, they're going to be is it be a 50% Kyren Williams, 35% Blake Corum, 15% everybody else.
Yeah, but I mean, that 50% on a Sean McVay offense on a Super Bowl team, like a playoff team, like I still value pieces that I want. Blake Corum, like, I'm not taking him as a handcuff. Don't do that. You're shooting yourself in the foot for your roster construction at that point. But I would take one or the other if you're going to take a shot on Blake Corum. If he's late enough, go ahead and just hope something happens. But for where he's going,
I'm just going Jarquez Hunter.
Yeah,
like what a lot of these backfields, these committee backfields, I'm just making a decision, and a lot of my decisions are just take the least expensive guy. I want Jarquez Hunter in Tennessee. A big surprise. I want Nicholas Singleton.
Yep.
In Tampa, who do I want? I want Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker's very interesting. So I noticed that you didn't say Tampa was out of the question for being a committee.
For out of a committee, I think it starts. I'm not sure. This one kind of confused me, to be honest with you, because I don't know how healthy Bucky's going to look when he comes back. If they're going to split work with Sean Tucker or Kenneth Gainwell back there as well. Are they going to give Gainwell the third down work? Like, is he going to do 2-minute offense? Like, we got to see how it plays out. And that's why I was kind of unsure about the Tampa Bay offense this year.
Well, Sean Tucker went undrafted, not because he's bad at football, because he had a heart condition, and it's been proven to be something he can play through and is no longer a major concern. And Kenneth Gainwell, you look at the news on Kenneth Gainwell, I mean, they're calling him the 1B running back. And do you think this is like a beat reporter that's calling him that? Or do you think it's Todd Bowles? Who do you think is calling him the 1B?
If I had to guess, it would be Todd Bowles.
It's Todd Bowles.
Yeah.
Todd Bowles calling Kenneth Gainwell the 1B. So this is very much a committee. And they also want to use Sean Tucker in short yardage.
Yes.
So this is it has nothing to do with the injury. It's just that okay. It does, in that if you trace back cause and effect, why is this player on the roster? Okay. Well, why did they bring in Kenneth Gainwell? Well, part of it, yes, is because they saw injuries to Bucky Irving and they were concerned, and they wanted to lock in a quality 1B running back because of the injuries that have been occurring to Bucky Irving, which makes sense because he's 190 pounds.
Yeah, just veteran depth. That's all that I thought Kenneth Gainwell was, just veteran depth.
I don't think so. I think what they're saying is he's more than that. I think that Kenneth Gainwell will play a bigger role than Blake Corum this year in this offense.
So it's a 3-way split as opposed to just a 2-way.
This is the concern, because they already said, like, this is already something that coaches, not beat reporters, coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Tucker, we love Sean Tucker inside the 5-yard line.
Yeah. Yep.
They've said this is we know this is true. And I like Sean Tucker. I like Sean Tucker everywhere, not just inside the 5-yard line. And I think that Sean Tucker throughout camp is going to make life very difficult for both Kenneth Gainwell and for Bucky Irving, because he's so good.
Young and hungry.
Size.
Yep.
So this is one that concerns me. When someone asks me, why aren't you drafting Bucky Irving here? Oh, Bucky Irving, he's the top value in ADP right now. You should draft him. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Yeah,
I don't need those problems, man.
I don't want the headache. I don't want it. And like with Mike Evans leaving, I think that's a huge part. He's been with that team for so long. It was such a key role. Like, how is that offense going to function without him there? Like, we haven't seen that happen either yet. So that's curious to see as well.
I didn't think about that. That's smart. That's smart that your brain would go there, because you're right. Mike Evans certainly needs to be accounted for by defenses.
Yeah,
no, he doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, I'm aware like the target consolidation is favored with running backs when wide receivers leave and all that. But even like he was, a cornerstone piece for that franchise. I mean, that's a big loss for them, whether they want to admit that or not in, Tampa Bay. But
it's so funny because I've been in such like number crunching, draft kit rankings, cheat sheet mode.
Yeah.
That sometimes you forget, right? You're like, guy leaves, especially Mike Evans, vacated targets, vacated targets, vacated targets, vacated targets. Oh my God, vacated targets.
Right?
You're just vacuuming up the vacated targets because the law of the conservation of targets. Can't wait. Vacuum those up and assign them to other guys. Oh my God.
Yep. Sound the alarms. Let everyone know.
Don't forget to dial back the offensive efficiency overall.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, these are key pieces. These are machines that operate. And when you take a piece out of a machine, it doesn't work the same. So it's going to be fun to see how it works out in preseason, but I'm excited.
Thank you, Steven. That's exactly,
absolutely.
It's very well said. So New Orleans, I talked about New Orleans earlier. I want to mention them as a committee because if Alvin Kamara is on the team, there's going to be a committee. Alvin Kamara is not going to be putting on a Saints uniform and not expect to be out there, especially in passing situations. Whenever they need a big play, whenever they're going to, you're like, why do they keep playing Ronaldo at striker for Portugal. Why does Portugal keep playing? Because he's Ronaldo. And he's going to have some big Ronaldo games. And you know that Alvin Kamara is going to have some big games. Yes, even with Travis Etienne on the roster. I actually think that Alvin Kamara is a super sneaky best ball player. He was sneaky last year. Very few players that are just best ball options. Almost always that player is also very valuable in managed leagues, and just put them in flex and just ride the volatility. Or they're very valuable in Dynasty. So I don't think much in terms of this is a best ball only type play. Alvin Kamara is one of the rare guys where in Dynasty, it's like he's near the end. You can't, in seasonal leagues, it's like I could never know when to play him. But in seasonal best ball leagues, Alvin Kamara, very attractive. And you know who is getting a ton of reps right now in a lot of their formations in New Orleans, basically playing the Alvin Kamara role in practice throughout OTAs?
It's not Devin Neal.
It's Ty Chandler.
Yep.
Ty Chandler has popped back up in the Player Profiler Dynasty rankings because of this. He's now a factor, and I have already picked him up in some very deep Dynasty leagues. I was like, oh, because I'm in some of these leagues where you go to the waiver wire and you scroll for a minute and you're like, never mind. I'm leaving. Never mind. Yep. Like, this was a waste of time. There's nobody available. Like, it's like one of those movies like,
Western gun down.
And the tumbleweed comes tumbling by. And there's nothing there. But then those are the leagues. I sort of flagged those leagues, and I'm like, when a Ty Chandler suddenly becomes interesting, or an Ashton Doolin suddenly becomes interesting, like, oh, Ty Chandler could be an RB3 on this team. Interesting. Oh, Ashton Doolin could be the wide receiver 3. Oh, interesting. Let's go see if they're available in one of these like old Western leagues in the desert, and in the talent desert. There they are. Oh, come to daddy, Ty Chandler. Come on down.
It's not like Ty Chandler is going to be a league winner or anything, but I mean, for where he's going, he's going to put you up points, and he has a solid floor being a PPR guy, man. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. Like, the value's there. I like it.
I like Devin Neal too. Coming out, I thought Devin Neal was an interesting guy.
Neal broke my heart with that injury last year. I needed him so bad.
Just don't think that it's going to happen for him. This is worst case scenario. If you are a running back and you're trying to prove yourself throughout an offseason to carve out a role, and you're not available to be in these drills, someone's got to play running back in all these drills.
Yep.
Right. Even if you're just helping the defense understand where their assignment is supposed to be.
Sometimes the best ability is availability.
You got to be out there. If you're Devin Neal, it's heartbreaking that you can't get out there. Now, Devin Neal, 2 years from now, will surface on a different team.
He's going to be
be a factor in fantasy football, just like Ty Chandler, who we wanted to be a factor in Minnesota, is suddenly resurfacing in New Orleans, and he's interesting.
Yeah, and he had pop weeks when he was in Minnesota, which is why we're getting slightly excited about the potential that could be if something does happen and he takes a bigger share of that role, or Kamara goes down or he gets hurt. I mean, he's a healthy guy, but I mean he's 32, something like that. He's old, man.
Double handcuff. Yep. Ty Chandler is 28 years old, and he's a double handcuff. He runs a 4.38. He has an all-purpose skill set. I like him. I like him as the deepest possible stash you could ever imagine for these type leagues.
Wastelands, and especially when you look at the quarterback situation with Tyler Shaw there, man, like, it's dump off city all year long. He's going to be looking for escapes. He's going to need ways out, and that's why I had Alvin Kamara actually ranked a little bit higher in my rankings this year. I like the value there. There's lots of things to be enjoyed in New Orleans.
So we've 2 more teams on this list where we've heard the C word used. Denver. So RJ Harvey is the trappiest running back I've ever seen in my life. I really like J.K. Dobbins. He's been really efficient. This is going to be a productive offense. They've upgraded the passing game with Jalen Waddle. Bo Nix is another year developed in the NFL, so he's approaching his peak. It just makes sense that they're going to hand the ball off to J.K. Dobbins. He's as healthy as he's been in many, many, many years.
Yeah. Yep.
I can see J.K. Dobbins really having 1,000-yard rushing season, and he's an incredible value in all formats. Love J.K. Dobbins. But then knowing that he is going to be the guy on first and second down, then the question is, well, who's going to play on third downs and second and long and 2-minute drill? And it's not entirely clear, even though RJ Harvey soaked up a bunch of targets last year and looked dynamic. Yeah. I don't know exactly what Sean Payton's thinking, and it scares me.
Balance. I mean, it was the same. We've been watching long enough. Even when he was in New Orleans, it was the same thing. He runs 3 running backs at a time. It's a headache to deal with. You don't know who he's going to play week to week. All you can do is evaluate the talent and, do your best. I try to stay away from Sean Payton running backs unless there's an injury. But I do like the value for on the back end of the drafts this year. For if they're
Dobbins is
for sleepers,
such a.
I'm RJ Harvey. I'm out on RJ Harvey this year. He's going way too high. I like the player, just I don't like the value in drafts this year.
I mean, he's coming down. Like his ADP is the air is coming out, but it's not happening fast enough. And so on Player Profiler across the board, season rankings, dynasty rankings, you'll see that, we're out ahead of consensus on a guy like RJ Harvey, who is a complete trap and a stay away. And he's going to have weeks, right? He's going to have weeks. The only time I would ever draft him, and I won't, right? I mentioned there's one guy that I'm drafting specifically in seasonal best ball leagues, and that's it. And that's Alvin Kamara. All the other players I'm drafting typically in other types of formats as well. RJ Harvey, I can't even say that. It would be the one league I think, or the one format that I think would be defensible. It would be seasonal best ball, because then you can get those spike weeks. They're just going to be fewer and farther between than we really want.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. I think Alvin Kamara, he provides enough stability, and he's been doing it long enough, and he's cheap enough in drafts where he's going to get you points on your roster, and has the potential to put up 25 points in a week. So
explain this.
I love it.
Explain the difference in 2026 PPR fantasy football between Kamara and RJ Harvey. Explain this to me.
Sean Payton, that's the difference.
But I mean, think about what their production's going to be versus their ADP cost.
Oh no, you're not crazy, and that's why we like guys like Kamara. That was how I viewed Eckler last year as well. You see these guys with big opportunity roles, and they're going later in drafts, like near double-digit rounds.
I respect the hell out of you. I respect the hell out of you. You listed a player that you were technically wrong about because it was a good process. I respect the hell out of that callback to Austin Eckler, because it was a good process, just like Alvin Kamara's good process.
Yeah, like I'm okay. As long as you're following the formula you got for yourself, it doesn't work out, I'm okay. I have my conviction, like it's okay. If it didn't work out, it didn't work out. Then we move on and we find someone else to pick up.
This Washington backfield, man. This Washington backfield is tricky. It would be so much easier if they had just given Rachaad White more money.
That part. And then there's still the Jaden Daniels issue. Like Jaden Daniels might be the leading rusher on the team this year.
Probably will be.
Yeah. And we're worried about our running back by committee. Like we might not have to worry about any of the running backs.
The one thing we've learned so far is that Katron Allen is not close to seeing the field.
Yeah. And Croskey-Merritt was just a flash in the pan disappointment last year. Like the running back room is not pretty in DC.
I wouldn't say that. If you're going to start week 1 as a day 3 running back rookie,
I mean,
you have my attention.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm impressed, right? I'm impressed. And he did produce. He had some weeks. And
there was a couple.
Didn't command any targets. And he has, again, sort of like he's like the RB1 version of Devin Neal, where technically he's in the RB1 spot on the depth chart, but like similar to Devin Neal, like he couldn't afford to miss this entire offseason.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate part of it.
To miss all of the offseason program and the workouts and all in the installation of all the packages. That's tough, man.
Yeah.
For a guy in his position, it is tough. I don't, it makes me think that Jerome Ford could make this team.
And Jerome Ford's solid.
And he has been solid. Jerome Ford has been a solid, relatively
top
efficient running back, especially on a team that's not scoring a lot of points, not creating a lot of opportunities in Cleveland. Jerome Ford was exactly like you said, solid.
Yeah. He's not flashy. He's going to get you 12 to 18 points, but those are 12 to 18 points you can count on every week. And sometimes that's what you need. So I keep an eye out on him. Like, it's definitely a name to keep an eye out for, especially in these running back rooms this year where they're going to be going early and often. Like, just looking at mock drafts this year, like running backs are going fast, which is good to see. People getting smart, but you know, it's okay. But yeah, I love Jerome Ford. I love the production, love the size. Just not a sexy name.
No, but he has been efficient.
Yep.
And it's so ambiguous. We have no idea what they're going to do. Everything points to Rachaad White. It's just,
the money points there.
It's hard because he's only making $2 million. It's like, I've been burned in the past with running backs where I was a truther for this running back. I believed he goes to another team. Cheap. But that's a shallow depth chart. And I'm like, doesn't matter. I'm in. And then I get burned. I'm like, but he just didn't have like the sort of the salary capital to command the role that he deserved. And it's like, oh man, that's a bummer. And this happens to me time and time again. And so 3 years ago, I would be way out in front on Rachaad White, but because I've sort of processed these learnings, it makes me more aware of Jerome Ford and what Jerome Ford could be. And again, these deep leagues, really the deepest leagues that I'm in are dynasty leagues. So it turns out that the leagues where I actually have Jerome Ford are technically dynasty leagues because it's like, listen, he's available. He's in a super ambiguous backfield. And if he is getting carries, let's say Katron Allen's not ready, Croskey-Merritt disappoints, he fumbles, like clearly missing the offseason program hurts him dramatically. They have to call on Jerome Ford in early downs. And then what happens? He's really efficient because he's been an efficient runner in the past. And then he has Jaden Daniels and the Alfred Morris corollary. And then suddenly linebackers are being frozen and he's getting an angle that he didn't get in previous years. Suddenly Jerome Ford's looking great out there. We're like, remember Jerome Ford? It's like, yeah, we never forgot him, man.
And we saw how effective the Washington offense was when Jaden Daniels was fully healthy, and that was his rookie year. Like now he's coming in with another year, not experience, but you know, he's been in the league, he's been in the rooms, he's been watching film, he's getting with the guys. Like I think this is an offense that, you know, is going to put up points. They have pieces to do it. It's just like you said, that ambiguous running back room, that's going to cause issues, and that's why I think Jaden Daniels finishes as, you know, 600-700 yards rushing this season.
Yeah. I mean, I just recently started yet another startup. Everyone can feel free to invite me into their startup. Podfather at rotounderworld.com. I'd love to. I mean, I got a few more startups that are scheduled to go soon and kick off. This one is called The Long Game that I'm in. And I'll just I'll show you what I got going on here. It's a fun situation. Superflex, tight end premium, and I chose the 106 smartly, as it turns out. Yeah, like the one of the advantages of having the 106 is you can react if there is chaos on one side of the board or the other. You can react and take advantage of it. You can either attack a position earlier than you would have, or not, or just choose to play it cool. You can definitely have a much less aggressive posture and more just take what the board gives you, the 106. And it turned out to be a very smart play because the guy at the 101 decided to hoard quarterback and he started 4 straight quarterbacks.
Ooh.
Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, it was very interesting. It was a third round reversal with the tight end premium, and it was strange that Hurts and Mahomes both made it to him, but he felt like he just couldn't let the value go. I don't think he went into it thinking he was hoarding quarterbacks. He was just like, I have these guys way ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, I
have Hurts and Mahomes way ahead of Garrett Wilson, way ahead of Breece Hall, Travion Henderson. So I gotta do it. And so when I saw that, I was like, okay. I started Jackson Smith and Jigba, Herbert, and then Carnell Tate, as I mentioned earlier, at the 307. And I had to go to quarterback. I went Mendoza. I just love Mendoza long term. I think Mendoza is like a bigger, more athletic version of Joe Burrow.
I said CJ Stroud, but more accurate and smaller arm.
Right. So he's like, CJ, whatever it is. You want to mix CJ Stroud and Joe Burrow and Tom Brady, right? If you put Joe Burrow, CJ Stroud, and Tom Brady and put them into one guy, it would be Fernando Mendoza. So Mendoza at the 406, and then Flowers at the 507, Scadaboo at the 606, and then Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams, not a guy I ever draft, but sometimes
for the value
is just so good, you have to just take the guy. And this is start three receivers. So certainly with start three receivers, full PPR, getting 4 receivers in the first 7 rounds made sense. But I want to show you a particular player and look where he got drafted. 2 picks before Carnell Tate at the 305 was George S. Pickens. George S. Pickens goes at the 305. What do you think of that?
I'm coming around on George Pickens. I was completely off of Pickens last year. There may have been some slander things said about him. However, I was proven wrong. I think I have to eat some hot sauce for that one. But I'm coming around. I'm just not as high on him as I think everybody else is. The talent's there, obviously. It's just the situational certainty in what he's going to be is what I'm not sure on.
What's changed? Coach is the same, quarterback's the same, wide receiver room's the same.
It's the contract situation. I don't know if it's going to be a long-term situation in Dallas. So if it's not the same next year, like where does his value go from there? I mean, is he back to what he was doing in Pittsburgh? Like, who's his quarterback going to be? That's the only reason I'm like still trying to taper my expectations on old George Pickens there.
Well, let's look at his season stats. We'll pull up his season stats for a moment for George Pickens. And last year, 137 targets, which was more than 30 more than he's ever commanded, but he was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And this, low volume puke offense. And he had an injury in 2024. So he missed some games. Still, every season, over 1,300 air yards every single season. And he had 4 touchdowns per year. So that was inordinately low touchdown total. Everything corrects, right? His yardage, is still, in line with his air yards, incredibly efficient. Look at the catch rate, like super high catch rate. So he took maximum advantage of those air yards last year. Maxed out his touchdowns and got to the wide receiver 5. I think more reasonable is going to be something like 16 fantasy points a game.
I think so.
But at 16 fantasy points per game at age 25, he just turned 25. I say, why not? Think about it in Dynasty. You're going to have his age 25, age 26, and age 27 seasons. And those are his super prime. So I would draft him right around Carnell Tate. In fact, we have him adjacent on the Dynasty rankings. I like them both. The beauty is if he doesn't end up staying in Dallas, it is going to be for a mega contract elsewhere. It's going to be, he's going to have to go somewhere that's going to want to pay him the absolute max. And that team likely does not have another receiver.
Probably not. If it's George.
Right. If they're another receiver that can command targets, like Seattle would never do that.
No.
You go down the board of all the teams that might be in the market to pay George Pickens, to give him that Godfather offer to get him away from Dallas. in each of those situations, he's going to be the guy. Like, and you see this with Drake London, even though we hate the quarterback situation in Atlanta, because he's the guy, it'll take care of itself. So I think that the contract situation, it seems like something that would generate a lot of uncertainty, especially in Dynasty. But I think he's good enough that he's either just going to stay in Dallas and they're not going to be able to, they're not going to be able to risk letting him walk, because he becomes such a crucial cog of their offense.
Yeah, agreed.
That they'd have to go find the money.
Yeah.
And then if he's like, listen, I'm walking, I'm out of here. And he might be the type of player that's just like, I don't care what you're offering. I'm going to bet on myself and I'm going to put myself on the market no matter what.
Yeah.
I know this is the best possible offer. This is best and final. I'm going on the marketplace.
Yeah.
I could see him having that kind of swagger, that kind of confidence, just the way he's wired. But I think either way, he's a slam in Dynasty. I just think a few months ago, it would have been very difficult for me to have confidence pushing the button on George Pickens in the third round.
I think I'm still there. Yeah. Especially
I'm at the point now where I'm very confident. I would happily draft him in the third round of a superflex startup.
And the talent's there, man. He's the best one-on-one receiver in the NFL, in my opinion. So yeah. I get it. And to correct myself, like thinking about it, like if he comes back next year and signs an extension with Dallas, where is his value at then?
Oh,
yeah.
Talk about upside. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. That could happen. Like,
yep.
I was told by many people that know how the NFL works. There's no way Cincinnati's going to extend T. Higgins. They don't have the money. They don't want to spend it, even if they had it. And then what do? They extend T. Higgins. So I'm like, I got to see George Pickens hit the open market to believe it.
I think I just convinced myself with that argument right there. Like if we're back next year and he gets extended, like where is he at then? He's a top 10 wide receiver. Yeah.
Yeah. Sick.
Yep. So
Olave, he's right there too. Like Olave is the next guy. Would you consider Olave to be a cornerstone asset of a dynasty team?
I think cornerstone, he has the pieces to do it. I don't know if I trust the health to call him cornerstone.
Okay.
I think it's a little risky, but I mean, the production is there for him. He's a solid wide receiver target. But if I'm looking for a guy to be on my team for the next 4 to 5 years as a cornerstone piece, I don't know if he's going to be there for the entire year next year. So like, I got to taper my expectations a little bit. Like I want dependability for cornerstone pieces, not necessarily upside. If I'm shooting for upside, I'm shooting on, lottery picks in the double-digit rounds.
Question from the chat. I love having the live stream. Everybody, hey, if you're on this live stream, like the show. Just like it. Oh, subscribe to the channel. And then that'll help us live stream more. YouTube does not incentivize live streaming, but I love live streaming because I want to hear what the audience has to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's lots of ways you can work around that. I just turn the camera on and I go live and we see what happens. And Greg Wells has an interesting comment. He says, don't you worry that once Pickens gets the long-term guaranteed contract, he's going to go back to being a knucklehead. I don't know what knucklehead means in this context. I know that Rashee Rice is a knucklehead because Rashee Rice has had incidents involving law enforcement.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if you're standing on business and you're trying to get paid, I got no problems with it, man. Hold out on camp all you want and get your money.
Is George Pickens eccentric? Yes.
He's a wide receiver.
A lot of players that have eccentric personalities that are going to do stuff that is disruptive. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, when he was at Barcelona, he was disruptive. He parked his Lamborghini in the coach's parking spot. He would do things like that. Okay. But he wasn't getting arrested that I know of. Okay. So that's the difference. I think you have eccentric personalities, hyper competitive personalities that can create locker room tension Yes.
Yeah.
I believe that is the reason why George Pickens is not in Pittsburgh. George Pickens is not in Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh really values locker room harmony and, whoever it was, teammates, coaches, they didn't like George Pickens, and they found a way to get rid of him. And instead of, like you said, seeing this as a business, it got personal. Somehow it got personal with George Pickens in Pittsburgh, and that's why they chose to make the fateful decision of replacing him with DK Metcalf, a much worse version of what George Pickens is. And that was a blunder that will continue to haunt Pittsburgh for years to come. So I don't see George Pickens as a knucklehead who's at risk of taking a year off and coasting or getting suspended by the league. I don't see any of those things. I see a hyper-competitive guy who has an eccentric personality and struggles to get along with everybody in the locker room. And there are some teams that are very good at managing those kinds of personalities and egos.
Just about to say,
Dallas has been able to do that.
Yep, it comes with the territory, man. You're a wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. Like, you kind of have to have that braggadociousness to you, man. Got to shoot your shot, talk your game. Like, it comes with being a wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, Wallbang comes in with another comment, says his on-field antics are just a display of how passionate he is.
Yep.
And that's what Cody Carpentier said. He said, this guy's a dog. This guy's, he's actually, his dog rating is too high. Right. So Cody said that there are a couple players out there whose dog ratings are so high that they're not optimal. Jawan Jennings is one, and we saw a personality got him kicked out of San Francisco. Right? That was a personality clash because the things he does on the field are exactly what you want with Jawan Jennings, just like George Pickens. The things he does on the field win games.
Yep.
That is what you want. But there is this other thing. So is that enough to concern me? Not really. The one thing I can tell you, he's not going to take a year off. He's not going to coast. That's not the George Pickens.
He's a competitor, man. He wants to win.
That's not the George Pickens personality. No, it's the opposite. That he's so intense that some people get uncomfortable in his presence, and I'm perfectly fine with that. There's been a lot of Brian Thomas Jr. discussion.
There's been a lot of Brian Thomas. Yes, there has.
Every community, every Discord. Check us out on Discord, Player Profiler on Discord. I'm posting there frequently. And, Brian Thomas, his movement up draft boards, it was ADP rising, is not commiserate with the amount of buzz behind the scenes and buzz within fantasy communities. There's enough people that are not so plugged in like we are that are just avoiding Brian Thomas based on last year, suppressing his ADP, that all of the smart money and all of the plugged in players drafting Brian Thomas isn't enough to push him up. I think where we have him ranked would then equal his ADP. We're still out in front of consensus on Brian Thomas Jr.
High. Yep. I am too. And I'm high on Brian Thomas Jr. this year.
Why you like him?
And especially, this is year 2 with the Liam Coen offense, and we saw Liam Coen, all he does is come out and produce top 5 offenses, whether it's at Kentucky or in the SEC and now in Jacksonville or Tampa Bay. He knows how to run an offense. And Brian Thomas Jr. is a guy who's still on a rookie contract, but this is a first-round wide receiver with a pedigree that they've invested time and money into. I love the production value. I know there was some reports that he was a little banged up last year, but I think he should be back to 100%. He's had a full year to mesh with Trevor Lawrence at this point. So I love the production profile. I love the size. I love the athlete. Like, this is like your classic post-type sleeper, man. Like, I love the BTJ landing spot this year.
I've pulled up his season stats. His yards per reception is exactly the same.
Yeah.
Okay, from 2024 to 2025.
Like I said, love the production.
His air yards are only off by a little over 200 from 2024 to 2025. It was just the efficiency wasn't there. Like the per target efficiency, his catch rate was close to 50% and his touchdown rate was incredibly low. We're talking about
2 touchdowns.
We're talking about a touchdown rate of 4%. Like 4% of his catches were touchdowns on a perfectly productive offense. That's just random. That's just a pure outlier. So his season was an outlier anyway. Will he be what he was in 2024? No. And it's nothing to do with him. That's the thing. The reason why is they now have Jakobi Meyers and they now have Parker Washington.
Yep.
And again, this is okay. So we'll talk about lessons I've learned over the years continually on this show. We talked about it once, right? Where I would be so all in on Rachaad White if it were 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Just because the talent profile, and I love big running backs that catch passes and are athletic. I mean, it's just like, oh my God, that contract value data point is such a red flag for me.
Yes.
And I have been, so wronged by it in so many years. I have to factor it in significantly. With Brian Thomas, I would normally be, when I see these air yards and I see this potential from a first round pick and a mega athlete comparable to DK Metcalf in a good way.
Yeah.
Right. If he just had DK Metcalf's third season, wouldn't you love that? Wouldn't you love that if he posted the same season statistically as DK Metcalf's third season? You would love that. Of course you would love that. The problem for Brian Thomas Jr. is Parker Washington. And it struck me when I was thinking about this that the player they're talking about extending is Parker Washington. And that's the same player they're not talking about. So we know that they are in talks to extend him. And that information could have been leaked by Parker Washington's representatives.
Yeah.
It could be that Jacksonville is on radio silence lockdown. No one's allowed to talk about Parker Washington until we get a deal done because we don't want anyone on their side of the negotiation to fully understand how valuable we think he is because we're trying to get a discount.
Yeah.
Just like Carolina just got a discount on Jalen Coker.
Yep. That part.
So what do you do in that situation? Well, let's talk about receivers not named Parker Washington on a loop. So this is part of the propaganda wars that we have to factor in.
Yeah, filter through. And
Brian Thomas is in the news because they want him to be in the news. Parker Washington is not in the news because they don't want him to be in the news. But guess what? It's getting out anyway. Beat reporters are talking about how good he's looked.
Yeah.
And that they want to extend him and that they're in active negotiations for an extension. And that information just, it can't be fully suppressed. And it makes me think, okay, Brian Thomas is potentially an upside trap this year in that you love those air yards and you saw it a couple of years ago, but the environment has changed so much that if there's one player where you can write down the target share every year, it's Jakobi Meyers. It doesn't matter what the team is. Could be New England. It could be Las Vegas. It could be Jacksonville. You need to write that target share down. It's not up for debate. It's not like someone's going to, suddenly Jakobi Meyers is going to go from a 20% target share to 12. No, that's not going to happen. That's a lock. Now you have this player that is actively ascending in Parker Washington. Then you have Brenton Strange. And you're hearing news reports about how much the team loves Brenton Strange and wants to get him involved and LaQuinn Allen and get him involved in the passing game. And suddenly we know Travis Hunter is going to be involved with gadget plays.
Here
and
there,
on down the board, it's like suddenly the target math and the air yards math doesn't quite add up in this particular environment with this personnel, these personnel groupings. It doesn't quite add up to the upside I would like to believe is there for Brian Thomas.
No, I see what you're saying completely. But I think it's one of those situations where it's one way or the other. It's either they realize that he's not the guy and we just missed something that rookie year. Excuse me. Or it's, Liam Cohen and tide raises all ships, man. And it's just going to be top 5 offense. And we see crazy things this year and all value. Sorry. And all the wide receiver assets have value on that team. But I see it as the business side.
I'm not saying I'm fading Brian Thomas. I'm saying I would have been like waving the flag. He would be my number 1 buy.
Oh, yeah.
If I didn't sniff this out.
The contract situation. And I'm glad you brought it up.
That this is not quite what it seems.
Yeah.
Because of the lingering contract situation with Parker Washington, the Brian Thomas buzz, local beat buzz, isn't quite what it seems. So I think there's a bit of a conspiracy there to get fantasy gamers frothy about Brian Thomas. Not that they care about fantasy gamers. It's just what naturally happens when you are actively suppressing positive news about a particular player. It has to go somewhere. And it's going to land on Brian Thomas.
Yep. Yeah. And you're not wrong. I mean, it's Brian Thomas is the guy that's on the front of the papers on, all week long. Like we don't really hear much about, Parker Washington, but he has value and this is going to be an offense with a lot of target share, man. There's going to be so much volume on this offense, I think, especially with the running back room that they have and the ambiguity there. Like it's just going to be pass.
Yeah. Think about thank you. Just like Tennessee, right? This is why we want these teams in the South, AFC South, NFC South. We want teams in the South.
Yeah.
Their backfields are weak and they've stockpiled their wide receiver rooms with Carnell Tate.
Exactly.
Right?
And
Jacoby Myers and on down the board. Yep. Jared Dean is in the chat. He says, I'm currently in trade talks to acquire BTJ right now, but I'm shitting my pants.
The upside's there. If you believe in the upside, which is why you made the trade, then believe in the upside. Like, don't second guess yourself. Like the targets are going to be there. Like he has the talent and the pedigree to make a full bounce back to, maybe not a top 3 fantasy asset, but I mean, that's not out the window given how that offense works.
I just can't quite get there, man.
Yeah.
I wish I could. I really wish I could, man. If I were the fantasy gamer I was 5 years ago, I'd be right there with you. But I also appreciate the fact that we have invented a new fantasy term. Upside trap is new. No one's ever said that before. There's no such thing as an upside trap. We invented that term today.
But somehow I knew exactly what you were talking about when you said it. So, yeah, I like that one. Upside trap.
Naughty 4662 writes, trust your pants, Jared. Trust them. Trust the process. Trust your pants, Jared. Trust. Yeah. Guess who else is in extended talks right now?
Who we got?
Michael Wilson.
Okay. Yeah, I know their preliminary talks have been in discussion. This one, man, as an Ohio State fan, it hurts my heart. It hurts. Because this is the exact same situation as the BTJ thing. I just don't want to admit it at this point.
It's a very, very tricky situation.
Yeah.
Because they are not going to throw at the same rate they did last year. They just drafted a running back. This is the thing, man. Sometimes you just have to take a step back and go, wait,
the pieces together.
Their backfield is Bashal Tutin and LaQuint Allen. Wait, their backfield is Tony Pollard and Tajay Spears. What are we talking about here? Of course they're going to be throwing the ball. Well, on the other end of that spectrum, now their backfield is Tyler Algier in early downs and Jeremiah Love every other down. And where does that leave Marvin Harrison? Well, behind Trey McBride first and foremost. And then we don't know where he slots in with Michael Wilson.
I mean,
Michael Wilson is a player that I would have typically, because I was so out in front on Michael Wilson in his early days as big time truther, loved him, 3rd round pick out of Stanford, was like, this guy can really play, best feat at the Senior Bowl, and had questions about Marvin Harrison Jr. that many others didn't. And then that would naturally, logically leading you to be more bullish on Michael Wilson. But you go to the Dynasty rankings on Player Profiler and you're like, wait a second, Michael Wilson, you guys should be higher on Michael Wilson. We have him at wide receiver 34. That is ahead of consensus, but not by a lot, right? Most people would think that we'd be way out ahead, but there are certain players that we're more out ahead of. Players like Christian Watson, players like Josh Downs, who we'll talk about in a little bit, players like Parker Washington. There are these players that we are very much out ahead of, and they naturally will displace a Michael Wilson because he could be 4th on this team in targets. He could be behind Trey McBride, behind Marvin Harrison Jr., and behind Jeremiah Love. Or he's just better than Marvin Harrison Jr. For whatever reason, Marvin Harrison Jr. reached a level of competition that he was not ready to handle and that he was not prepared for.
Yeah.
And this is in so many ways, especially for a top pick. If he were a 2nd or 3rd rounder, there wouldn't be nearly this much at stake. But you see this time and time again for these guys that are top 10 picks. This 3rd year is pivotal.
Yes.
I mean, it is almost everything where I'll say it. If he doesn't fire this year, if it doesn't happen for Marvin Harrison Jr.,
oh, it's full cut ties.
It's over.
Yeah.
Like think about that. What is at stake for Marvin? If you have I have Marvin Harrison on a couple Dynasty teams, ones I inherited, orphans, and I am terrified.
Yeah. And I would be, because he just brought up Brian Thomas. Like, I'm not worried about Brian Thomas. But for some reason, Marvin Harrison, I'm worried about Marvin Harrison.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have them adjacent in the Dynasty rankings. They're right there.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, we have Brian Thomas ahead.
I would too. Yep.
Yeah, we have Brian Thomas ahead.
Especially draft capital.
Where they stack up.
Dynasty and then they just invested another
PlayerProfiler.com, Dynasty Deluxe.
That part. But yeah, and then they spent a third overall pick on a running back. Like, after just taking Marv, like, they're gonna run the ball, they're gonna use this dude. Like, their warning signs are there. Like, I'm staying away from Marv this year. Unfortunately,
you just have to sidestep this. Right?
Yeah.
You don't need to be a hero. Like, you don't even need to get Michael Wilson now. Like, in Dynasty or even seasonal leagues that allow trades, you can trade for him.
Yeah.
I can promise you, I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. is not going to play 17 games this year. He's not going to.
No.
He's not built for this. It's not going to happen. So there is going to be a time, if you could time it just right, maybe he starts slow. The thing is, a guy like Michael Wilson, his dynasty value is so fragile that if he just has a couple weeks where he starts slow, there were already doubters that his 2025 production was fraudulent because it was the end of the year when they were leading the league in pass rate and there was no Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Because he seemed like such a situational spike week specialist, you take away that situation and you put him in more of a league average situation. So many people are just expecting, so many fantasy gamers just expecting him to revert back to the mean and just be irrelevant. And so if you just give them a couple weeks of Michael Wilson, 5 targets and 8 fantasy points, you feed that to them, man, there's going to, and a lot of those people are heavily involved in the fantasy industry. And there's going to be all these articles. There's going to be all these social posts. There's going to be all this, like, when to cut Michael Wilson, that he's dead, all these things. You're going to have plenty of opportunity to buy low on Michael Wilson.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is, you may actually have the safety and security of a contract extension to fall back on. where they extend. Okay, so what happens is they extend him. Then it looks like they made a huge mistake after a couple weeks, that they overpaid. Right. So then now you can see the Cardinals after a couple weeks getting mocked for overpaying Michael Wilson. Mm-hmm. So in that situation, his contract value won't help his value. He is going to crater no matter what. And then us that are looking at all the data points are like, well, we have this contract, and it's not like Marvin Harrison Jr. is playing that well either. It's just the offense is run heavy, and Trey McBride, and they have bad quarterback play, below average quarterback play. Buy low, right?
Absolutely.
So I just want to make sure that the people in this audience that see the Dynasty rankings and are concerned about where we have Michael Wilson, like, you guys are not eating at your own restaurant. What's happening? just wait. Just wait. There will be plenty of opportunity. Just don't worry. Don't worry. We have him rated properly. I have never had this much confidence in our Dynasty rankings ever in my history in this business. And the player that we need to talk about the most is Josh Downs.
Thank you.
Because Josh Downs is the type of player, again, that if I were the man I was 5 years ago, I would not be talking about Josh Downs. I would be actively rooting against Josh Downs, and I'd be just blindly buying all the Alec Pierce and taking all the coach sentiments about Alec Pierce returning to action quickly on face value.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing it for what it really is. And now I feel like I'm seeing the world the way, because again, it's just experience. It's called wisdom, actually. It's called wisdom. Yep. Steve. It's called wisdom.
We're getting there. We're getting a couple grays.
So yeah, I have a few grays up here. You can see I have a couple grays. Yeah, I live a pretty easygoing life, so I don't have that many gray hairs. But you work in fantasy football for a living. It's if you have gray hairs, I mean, something
comes
wrong
with the territory.
Well, no, actually, you shouldn't. If you do have gray hairs, you need to stop taking it so seriously. It's but I mean, I'm able to take this very seriously and not get stressed out about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm the Podfather. Josh Downs is now the type of player that I appreciate to such a high level that I want him everywhere in every league. It's like he's in the center of the Venn diagram for me, where he's going to get all the targets. He's actually a great athlete. He's under the radar. He's underappreciated. He's on a team that has maximal target consolidation with an underrated quarterback. But there's actually continuity there between him and the quarterback and the offensive line and the other top target earner on the team, which is not Alec Pierce. It's actually Tyler Warren.
Yes, it is.
So you're seeing incredible target consolidation. I think the most target consolidation around the league, because Alec Pierce is not participating in any of the offseason program. So every target is going to Warren or Downs, or Downs, and some JT. Don't forget about JT. JT's gone up in our Dynasty rankings recently because it's like, hey, listen, the math is the math, and JT's going to catch more passes this year. Just watch out for it. Yeah. So, you have a guy that's small, and I'd be like, man, I don't know. This is a Wan'Dale Robinson situation. And be like, no. This is not a Wan'Dale Robinson situation. Josh Downs set the record for receptions as a sophomore in all of college football history. He's the most productive by some measures. Josh Downs is the most productive sophomore in the history of college football at the wide receiver position.
And this
that's what an incredible, mind-blowing talent he is. His ability to get open, his ability to squeeze the football, he can even get downfield. He runs a sub 4.5 40. He has an 88th percentile burst score and an 87th percentile agility score.
And like you said with Marv, man, year 3 wide receivers, like, this is the year to break out. And this is a guy that, like, I've had Josh Downs in starting lineups. I haven't had Alec Pierce in starting lineups. I don't trust him. I didn't like the athletic profile that Alec Pierce brought. I thought the contract that he got was insane. Like, I really like Josh Downs, and especially this year, he's going in double-digit rounds ADP wise. Like, the value's there. He has solid upside. Like, there's a lot to like about Josh Downs this year.
There's everything to like.
Yeah.
There's everything to like about Josh Downs, and equally everything to like about Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren is going to outproduce
Targets.
Colston Loveland. I think Tyler Warren, for all the reasons we talked about a few minutes ago, Tyler Warren's going to outproduce Trey McBride. And that was one of my learnings. When I fully digested our draft kit, I was like, holy shit, Tyler Warren's going to outproduce Trey McBride. When you look at that team environment versus the team environment in Arizona, what we're talking about here, and you look at the talent profiles of this guy, where Tyler Warren's just getting started. Tyler Warren has massive, massive upside as a top 15 pick. And Josh Downs, I mean, he was a day 2 pick. He wasn't like a late round guy.
Yeah.
And the only reason he fell that far is because there's a bias against guys that are that small. But I mean, this is a rare opportunity where a team really only has 2 receivers. And Alec Pierce likely not going to be ready for week 1. So in week 1, you could see a 30% target share for both Warren and Downs week 1.
Yeah.
It's insane to think about. It sounds crazy, but it's when you actually sit down and you pencil it out, it's like, oh my God.
Like the targets have to go somewhere, and he's talented enough to like do something with it. We've seen it the last 2 years. Like he can put up points. He was a solid wide receiver too, the back half of last year. Like I said, I really like Josh Downs. And then we get to Tyler Warren. Like this, I didn't expect the Tyler Warren thing last year. I slept on Tyler Warren. My apologies.
Big mistake.
Like I ain't sleeping this year. Like
Big
Tyler
mistake.
Warren, and where he's going in drafts this year in the 5th round.
Stupid.
I am scooping him up in every single draft possible.
Yeah. I don't get, like, it's one of those things where in best ball, I'm fine. If you don't get Daniel Jones, now you will get Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
If you draft Tyler Warren and Josh Downs, you're going to be targeting Daniel Jones, but you don't need to get him.
No,
you could be perfectly happy with a lineup that has 2 receivers on it, but not the quarterback, just because it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
you hope
fine.
for the stack. You don't plan for it.
Yeah, because even if it is Riley Leonard, that's perfect. Riley Leonard, the guy that he can't hit, if it is Riley Leonard, and probably, I think similar to what we talked about earlier, with players we know are not going to play 17 games. Marvin Harrison Jr. ain't playing 17 games.
No.
Daniel Jones ain't playing 17 games.
That's why I'm off. Yeah.
Right? Riley Leonard's going to be out there. And who's he going to be throwing the ball to? Short, intermediate, Downs, and Warren. Downs is going to go for like top 10 yak. Right? This is the year. Yak sometimes is random. It's harder to predict than air yards.
Mm-hmm.
But guys like Josh Downs gobble up the yak. And sometimes they have an outlier yak season. And Josh Downs can get an outlier yak season and outproduce Marvin Harrison Jr. So I'm telling you, you have Warren and Downs together could outproduce Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison. It sounds silly.
I'm fully with you. There's no look of surprise here. Yeah. Like
it's not like it's not how we're projecting.
Paid him. I was so
first I was like, it's not our baseline projection.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Like there is a world, we'll say 25% chance that's what happens. That plays out that way. And that's 25% chance where the vast majority of fantasy analysts would say 0% chance. And I'm saying no, 20, 25, 30% chance. Warren and Downs outproduce Marv and Trey McBride.
I think they can both be solid starting options in any roster this year. I love the value on both, man. I really do. Like I thought them giving Alec Pierce the contract was a little crazy. I don't think he warranted the extension. It was absolutely insane. I was like, what the hell is this? Why are they giving this guy over $100 million who's done essentially nothing for the team? Like Josh Downs, like puts up points. Yeah, that part.
When I saw that contract come in, this is what I was thinking about Colts fans.
Sad news, man. Yeah.
I mean,
it was rough. And especially when you look at like where he's going in drafts, he's going like the 13th round, Josh Downs, something like that.
It's too late.
He's free.
He's moving up.
Round 13.
Moving up. There's a lot of buzz about him out there. A lot of news reports. There's news reports all the time coming out that he's moving all around the formation. And I hate it because I'm like, we knew this was happening weeks ago. We've been talking about Josh Downs for months. Now you're letting everyone that was just casually paying attention to football news to know what's going on. And that's a little bit frustrating. I got to tell you, a little bit frustrating.
Probably
let's see when the news came out. PlayerProfiler.com/news 17 hours ago. So 17 hours ago, this was posted on PlayerProfiler.com/news.
Yep.
Look at this. Okay. Josh Downs lining up all over the place in expanded role. Okay. Of course he is.
Yeah.
Because of course
receiver on the team.
Yeah.
And you want to
this
get
is not a one-dimensional slot receiver. He happens to be small, but he is a different player than Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah. Like I said, I love the production profile out of Josh Downs, man. Like he might be like, he's going to be a solid pick, man. Like wide receiver 2, locked and loaded, I think, all year long. The targets, like I don't know why his value is so low if the targets are so guaranteed. Like it doesn't make sense.
It's silly.
Yeah.
It really is silly. Let's talk about some deeper wide receivers. Another guy that the news has come out, just a drumbeat of positive news, especially in light of Ladd McConkey's hamstring injury, is Trey Harris. Have you dug into Trey Harris at all?
I have not, so I would love to hear your opinion on him.
Okay.
But yeah, Trey Harris, I haven't touched.
Trey Harris is very interesting in that he was a dominant college receiver in the SEC at Ole Miss. Okay. He had a high dominator rating, and he ran the full route tree. He produced against man coverage. He produced against zone. Right. And he ran real routes. He wasn't just getting schemed into space. He wasn't just running like some of these college systems. It's like it's a button hook or a fade. He's not doing that. That's what they said about Chris Bell. Like, oh, Chris Bell, he's just running button hooks and fades. And then, yeah, he didn't have the most diverse route tree. Trey Harris ran a diverse professional route tree, came out early, right? And all of the reports coming out of Los Angeles camp are that he is excelling, that he is a sleeper. We're already getting people like Albert Breer, right? We're not talking about fringe beat reporters no one's heard of. We're talking about like Sports Illustrated's Albert Breer. Like if Albert Breer is talking about Trey McBride, there's something to it. Right? Quentin Johnston's there. Quentin Johnston's going to put up another 800-yard season. That's what Quentin Johnston does.
Yep.
Ladd McConkey is injured. Ladd McConkey tweaked a hamstring at the exact wrong time. Now Trey Harris is going to get all those snaps.
Yeah.
He is super versatile. He can play the Quentin Johnston role. He can play the Ladd McConkey role. I mean, I went back and I looked at every target. You know, I looked at video replay of every target. And again, he was showing off that incredible diverse route inventory that he has at his disposal already at an early age. And he, again, athleticism, explosiveness, 128.0, 81st percentile burst score to go along with a 73rd percentile college dominator in the SEC. They draft him in the second round. They use him enough, but when they did target him last year, it were in clutch situations. A lot for first downs. A lot were difficult catches in traffic. And so he's been building trust, has, you know, a healthy off season to just continue to get acclimated and get sort of deployed in different areas of the field. And so this is one of those offenses where we're trying to get exposure to the Chargers, and who's inexpensive with upside? Trey Harris. Yeah.
That might be the best scenario that you just laid out, is trying to find value on the offense that we want pieces of.
That's what we're talking about today. It's the whole theme of the show.
Yeah. Yeah. And then especially given like the Ladd McConkey injury and again, like this was an issue the year before that. But yeah, Trey Harris, like for that value and what we are expecting from that offense, like it's worth taking a shot and looking at. So I like it. I'm not mad at it.
Under the radar news item that came out on Player Profiler News. Colby Young. Okay. Colby Young is someone that we need to monitor. Colby Young is now in the running to be the wide receiver 3 in Cincinnati. And this is an offense we want exposure to, period. That's it.
Yeah.
You want exposure, one of the top offenses. We have the Cincinnati Bengals projected to lead the league in pass attempts. And so having the third receiver on a team that does not have 12 personnel as a featured grouping, it's just Mike Gesicki, right? Mike Gesicki and Eric All. Again, this is just like the Tennessee Titans, bottom 5 tight end talent profile on their team.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. The bottom 5 tight end group. Colby Young, 4th round pick, 95th percentile speed score, huge, big bodied guy.
Yeah. Big.
He is essentially T. Higgins. They're just essentially, I don't know what they're like. Hey, we have T. Higgins backup, but what they could do is they could play one of these 2 guys at X.
Yeah, that's
and then this tells if they want to put him on the field, this tells me they're going to try to move Jamar Chase more into the slot.
Yep.
That's fun for Jamar Chase. It's hard to be higher on Jamar Chase, but you can see the logic of why they might want to do that. And Colby Young is interesting.
Yep. And this is a guy that my Georgia insiders were telling me about, keep an eye on this guy. He's big. He could potentially take over that outside role and allow for some more versatility for Jamar Chase, line him out outside, mismatches and all that. But yeah, big dude, man. These are the kind of wide receivers that I like. You're big, 6'5", go up and get it in the corner of the end zone guys. So this is a name that I've been keeping an eye on, especially from down here in Florida, being so close to Georgia. But I like him a lot. He plays hard. He's a good dude to watch out for. I like it.
He was relatively productive at Miami before transferring to Georgia, and then he was just buried at Georgia, and then he only played in 8 games last year. But his catch rate was 73%. He just wasn't that heavily used. He was never fully integrated into the offense, and that's okay. That's how you can find some value. Is a guy just gets lost in the shuffle at a big program. Ladd McConkey wasn't that productive at Georgia either.
Yeah. That's why I was surprised everyone was so high on Ladd when he came out. I was like, I like him, but I don't like him the way everyone is potential 3rd round in redraft leagues. I'm like, whoa. That's a little crazy.
As soon as I saw that he was competing with
Yoshivas. Yeah.
As soon as I saw he was competing with Yoshivas for targets as the wide receiver 3, I was
as a rookie,
I was slap my forehead. Yoshivas is a guy in the deepest dynasty leagues. I'm never picking up Yoshivas, and I should be, just based on his role in the offense. I should be, but I refuse because I know he's the ultimate Jag wide receiver. So then I should also be open to someone coming in and competing with him, and that's Colby Young.
Yep. But no, I love it. Especially he's going undrafted in any format this year. What you potentially could get out of him, there's a lot to be liked there, especially for a red zone target like that, big dude.
It's a great stash. I really don't like to draft late round wide receivers in rookie drafts, but this particular year, the running back position is so shallow. There are so few running backs even drafted. I've been in these drafts where 3rd round's over and all the drafted running backs are gone. Heidenreich's gone.
Yeah, that's what I saw. It's just crazy. Running backs are going hot and heavy, man.
Gone. They're all gone. Jam Miller's gone. So I'm drafting in the 4th round of these rookie drafts, and all the running backs are gone. They're all gone. And Jamari Taylor runs a 4.7. And it's what am I going to do here? I'm going to draft another tight end? But what if it's not tight end premium? Well, I don't know. Suddenly, there's a couple wide receivers where I'm like, I can make a case for this guy.
Yeah.
I can make a case for Cyrus Allen in Kansas City. I could see this happening.
And he's in a situation for the case to be made.
There's a couple wide receivers, rookie wide receivers, that I would draft in the later rounds or that I'm picking up in these dynasty leagues where in past years, I just don't have the roster space or the inclination to even entertain rookie receivers that are late round picks, undrafted. I'm like, get out of here. The probability is so slim. But in the case of a Colby Young, it's like, well, this is the highest scoring, highest volume pass attack in the league. This guy does have a pedigree. He was targeted by Georgia. They wanted him, right? And they paid for him with NIL money to transfer from Miami. Interesting, right?
He was a day 2 pick.
Almost.
Yeah.
He was almost a day 2 pick. Okay. Round 4.
Okay. Gotcha.
That's early day 3. Cincinnati appreciated him to the fact they didn't want to let him slip into the 5th round. So there's always 1 or 2 receivers you can build a case for, but most of the time there's enough running backs where you're just stockpiling those guys and you never get around to rostering guys like Colby. Mm-hmm. This year's rookie class is so shallow that I find myself rostering Colby Young in a bunch of teams, and I'm happy to do it. Now, a guy I have ahead of him is in the same state, but on the polar opposite end of the spectrum offensively, and that's Isaiah Bond.
Okay. Yeah,
Isaiah Bond
out of Texas, undrafted.
There's a lot of buzz about Isaiah Bond right now.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised there wasn't more last year when he got undrafted by Cleveland.
I mean, they are designing plays for him routinely.
Yeah.
Okay. And he has been the standout in camp. And even when they talk about KC Concepcion, they talk also about Isaiah Bond.
Yeah.
Right. And he was, you read here, he was the Browns' most improved player, according to Todd Monken. Okay. And that, no Cleveland receiver was targeted more than Isaiah Bond throughout the spring. That's a quote from Daniel Oifusili or Oifusi from ESPN.
Yeah. Well, I think going back and looking at their wide receiver room, like if Isaiah would have came out like just a regular prospect, I think he has the highest pedigree and talent out of their wide receiver room right now, which is why I was surprised when he went undrafted and it was basically unmentioned to everybody, but he was coming off the injury. So we were expecting it to take another year for him to get back on the field, but for him to come out and be improved like that and take a step forward, for a blue chip prospect like this, it's good to see, especially as a Cleveland fan. Like, we need something on the outside, man. We need anything. So,
I mean, this is just another drop in the bucket, leading to tilting the tendencies of fantasy gamers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Again, 2, 3, 4 years ago, you hear about domestic violence. You hear about incidents with police. Take that guy off your board. Like, we were burned so badly by Josh Gordon, and those weren't even like violent incidents. Those are just controlled substance violations.
Yep. It goes back a while.
But then you have really serious incidents like with Henry Ruggs, and you go down the list, and like there's so many, and then most recently with Rashee Rice getting suspended. But you start to look at it, so many of these players where there were allegations made and there was the expectation of a suspension looming and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs, Geno Smith. There's not nearly the freak out that we would have seen just even a year ago.
No, there's not.
Because we're now getting trained. We're all learning and getting trained. The NFL is going to hurry up and wait. They're going to let the investigation play itself out, and then they'll make an assessment. And even then, they may or may not take any action.
Yeah, it seems like there's almost like a 6 to 8 month waiting period after any decisions made before the NFL even makes another decision. So
that's right. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Even when there is a verdict, then there's months before there's even a ruling and then another season can roll by. And it's
the Supreme Court of the NFL Council still has to make their ruling.
Right. And it's so we have to reprogram ourselves to take more risks on players that have had incidents off the field, even those that are involving law enforcement. And so Isaiah Bond falls completely out of the draft. And when you hear that, it sounds so serious.
Yep.
Like what we know must be dwarfed by what the NFL knows if they're not even going to draft him. And then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, well, wait a second. He hasn't been suspended and no one's talking about this now. This was a really big deal a year ago.
Yeah.
Now it's like it never happened. And he's the standout in camp and he's hogging all the targets and he's making Jerry Jeudy an afterthought and he's challenging Casey Concepcion. And he's the reason why Denzel Boston's probably going to be a bust.
I have so much the confusion with the Cleveland wide receiver room, because everything I hear is this guy's popping off, this guy's popping off, this guy's popping off. Like, I'm like, who's the pop guy? Because
well, I can tell you who the pop guy is. The number one receiver is going to be Harold Fannin Jr.
You think so?
The number two receiver is going to be Casey Concepcion.
Yeah.
And then the number three receiver is up in the air.
Well.
The number three receiver is up in the air.
Yeah.
The number three receiver could be Denzel Boston. Probably not, because he can't separate.
That part. That's why we were down.
It could be Jerry Jeudy, but probably not, because he's dust and he doesn't want to be there. He's not built for this. So if just by process of elimination, Judy's not built for this, doesn't want to be there, and he had his career ruined by Steve Smith.
Yeah.
By the way, Steve Smith came at Jerry Jeudy. He was never the same. Steve Smith came at the Podfather and only got stronger, bigger and stronger. So
I love Steve Smith, man. He has great takes, especially when it comes to wide receivers. Like, that's who I go to for wide receiver information. So
I don't like his takes about the Podfather, but otherwise he's fine.
But yeah, I mean, it's been so difficult being a Cleveland fan. Let me just say that it's just a headache, man. And we keep waiting for the next one.
I'm telling you, got to draft Isaiah Bond. This isn't just like, oh, I only like him in this one very specific best ball league. Oh no, Isaiah Bond is a smash across the board.
He's a dog, man. Yeah, that's. Like, I don't post a lot on X, but I posted last year when they picked him up. I was like, this is news. Like, people need to be aware about this. And like, no one said anything.
Yeah.
Not the
hog. We are.
Yeah.
PlayerProfiler.com/news. PlayerProfiler.com/news. We've got it.
Well, it's good to see. Well, I'm glad he's up there for y'all.
We've got the quotes from the coach. We've got the observations from the beat reporters. It's all right there on the Isaiah Bond player page. The best player pages in the history of sports media are at playerprofiler.com. We've had a great show.
Yeah, man.
We've had a great show. Tell the people where they can find your content.
Absolutely, guys. I appreciate you watching, first of all. But we'll be on YouTube, OG Fantasy Football. We're on X, OG Fantasy Football. Still working, just a couple guys, blue-collar guys, trying to make a dream come true, man. But high-quality fantasy content, rankings, analysis, roster construction is what I like a lot. So just learning how to play the game of fantasy football, man. Not so necessarily as many stats. Like, stats are stats, but I want to know how you play the game. Like, let's talk about that.
Podcast going to show up in the Player Profiler podcast feed. Make sure you're subscribed to the Player Profiler podcast feed. Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, everywhere.
Yeah, we're getting plugged in here.
So, okay. More news. Oscar Delp is going to be involved. Okay. Also, we know Juwan Johnson's not going anywhere. He's in a super prime. Yeah. Also, we know that Chris Olave led the league in air yards. And also, there's a guy named Devon Vele. He is essentially an older version of Trey Harris. He very much has that Trey Harris game where he squeezes the football in traffic. He seems to always be available. Has that, complete route tree where he can win in all quadrants of the football field, and it completely and utterly disregarded. I love him as one of my favorite wide receiver threes. Again, it's one of those teams where they don't have jumbo packages. Like Oscar Delp is the other tight end. They don't have one of these Charlie Kohler, Dawson Knox.
Yeah. And they haven't had one
prototypical 12
years,
personnel blocking tight ends. So because of that,
Jimmy Graham's the last tight end.
We're going to see a lot of three receiver. We're going to see a lot of three receiver sets in New Orleans.
Hurricanes.
I don't know how to get the math to work for Jordan Tyson.
What you're trying to get to.
How do we get the math to work for Jordan Tyson this year?
I don't know, because like everyone, he has to be the wide receiver too, and it would have to be probably a top half offense in the NFL to get the target share necessary.
They're going to be a good offense. Tyler Shuck's a smash.
I mean, he's going to have to get 70 receptions and 1,000+ yards and probably 5 touchdowns, which for a rookie is the odds of that happening are not very good.
The presence of Vele, the presence of Juwan Johnson, and now this buzz about Oscar Delp, and Oscar Delp is an athletic receiving tight end. And then now we have Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara shows up in his Saints uniform, and then he doesn't even need to. Like, he goes to the grocery store in his Saints uniform.
Yeah.
Like, everyone sees him around town in New Orleans wearing his Saints uniform. And
he's like, once in New Orleans. Yeah.
I'm coming back, baby. And they're like, but I heard they don't want you. Yeah, I don't care. But they don't want, I don't care.
They're getting me. Too bad. I've been here long enough.
They're getting Alvin Kamara this year.
Yep.
So,
I mean, then the Saints, they see all these other teams with like, oh, we got these young, explosive tight ends. You don't think they want to be part of that conversation too? Like, oh, look at us. We can draft these young tight ends too. Look what we can do.
All right. So go, Jen. You have people in the chat that are just, I think they're just saying things to say them because they just want to set me up. Jordan Tyson, if Olave's blood clots rear their head, they're not going to. That was evaluated as a one-time occurrence. We talked to the assistant medical doctor, team doctor. We talked to the assistant medical team doctor for the Broncos, specifically about Chris Olave. And these tend to be just inexplicable lightning bolt events. The blood clot happens for unknown reasons.
Just a series of unfortunate events there.
Yep. Right? It's just like I said, unpredictable and likely not to be replicated event that occurred inside his body.
Probably not, yeah.
They intervened. They dissolve it. He shows up for mandatory training camp with a clean bill of health, ready to go. There's no problems. And there will not be more blood clots.
Nope, we're good.
With Chris Olave. Certainly there could be, but my prediction is there won't be. I don't think we're going to hear any more about blood clots, but I love the Q tag. I love when you're drafting. Again, I was just in a startup, and I thought there was no chance I was going to get Chris Olave. And then because of the Q tag, he almost made it back to me. He almost.
Like, just enough to give you hope and then rip it away from you.
Yeah, middle of the 4th round. I was like, they're not going to, because I had to draft Carnell Tate, obviously.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, oh my God, is Olave going to be Olave? You always want to be open. You want to be open to the universe. That's making things happen for you.
So in the league I won my championship last year, it was JSN in the 3rd round. And I was like, well, what is this happening? I was like, okay, give me JSN in the 3rd round.
How did you do that? Wow.
Yeah, we play with dum-dums. That's what happened.
No, I'm just saying that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I'll bank that value, my friend. Love that.
Yep.
So I didn't get him, but it was close. And he was like the #1 player on the ADP board. And I'm like, this is the Q tag.
Mm-hmm.
This is, you just can't draft the guy because of the Q tag. So there's a Q tag on Laporta. Like, he's top of the board. There's a Q tag on Bucky Irving. There's a Q tag on Chris Olave. No one wants to draft the Q tag. That's why I have so much Patrick Mahomes.
See, I actually don't mind drafting the Q tag because you usually get a discount on it. And if you have 2 IR spots, definitely take it and hopefully he comes back healthy later in the season.
Thank you.
Like, I love the Q tag in double-digit rounds.
One more tight end room that I think is interesting. So Oscar Delp isn't going to challenge Juwan Johnson for targets this year.
No.
But he is very interesting.
For best ball, especially.
He's a high-quality receiving tight end.
Yeah.
And he's a great dynasty stash, especially in PPR and especially in tight end premium. Oh, my God. I love Oscar Delp in Dynasty, but not in any other format.
No, not for redraft or any of your standard leagues.
When you see those news items, it's not necessarily about drafting the guy they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's about running it through a prism of, okay, what does this mean for this team? And then it leads you down the road of, wait, I think we can't be drafting Jordan Tyson hardly ever this year.
No.
It leads you to a Jordan Tyson fade as opposed to being somehow bullish on Oscar Delp.
And I think that's indicative in the ADPs this year too. I think Jordan Tyson's like 15th, 13th round, something like that. Like
almost every day that goes by.
Yeah.
It used to be that Tyson and Tate were adjacent, and also their lifetime value ratings were super close.
Yeah.
On Player Profiler and Dynasty Deluxe. And almost every day, there's this widening of the disparity between Tate and Tyson. Every day that goes by.
It's getting more and more sour. It just keeps getting worse and worse. Yep.
Well, there are two ships passing in the night. I mean, one guy keeps going up and one guy keeps going down. Tate's going up, baby. In Los Angeles, Terrence Ferguson is the tight end that they are invested in. The team clearly wants Ferguson to be the tight end one there. Everyone knows Higbee's dust. I hope Higbee gets cut. I would love for Higbee to be. He's not going to be, because they love
forever. Yeah.
13 personnel. If a team wants to play a lot of 13 personnel, they're not going to let Tyler Higbee go. That's not what they're going to do.
He's kind of the Dawson Knox of that team.
But what could happen is that Ferguson gets the Parkinson targets.
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping for. I mean, if you look at his athleticism in the 2025 class, Ferguson was the second most athletic tight end in that class.
Yeah,
do you have any gut feeling
Terrence Ferguson
about what's going to happen with Ferguson versus Parkinson?
If I'm doing Dynasty, I'm okay taking a shot on him and hoping it pans out. In
21 yards of reception, Steve.
Yeah.
466 air yards.
I mean,
the guy gets down the seam, Steve.
I'm not sure. I don't trust it. That's the thing, is it's hard to tell who the targets are going to week to week. It's been hard to tell the last couple of years.
You like upside. I like to take advantage of ambiguous backfields, but also ambiguous tight end rooms. This is an ambiguous tight end room, and the upside is incredible. Yeah. If someone athletic that can get down the seam can also command the targets inside the 5, they have the potential to be a top 10 tight end in fantasy. And that's Terrence Ferguson, man. Tight end premium leagues, you're in the FFPC, you got to be stashing on your bench Terrence Ferguson. I'd rather have Terrence Ferguson than almost every other stash wide receiver in tight end premium. Give me Terrence Ferguson, man.
I think you're checking enough of the boxes for me to be like, okay, yep. Lead offense. He's young. He's explosive. Target
elite
consolidation.
Tight end centric offense. They're a tight end centric offense inside the 5.
I'm starting to come around. So I'll keep an eye out throughout the summer, and I'll keep an ear to the ground. But I love I'm a Sean McVay guy. He's my second favorite coach in the NFL.
Ferguson.
Yeah.
Well, look at it. Look at the news reports keep coming out that they want to feature Ferguson being groomed for 2026 Breakout. I mean, listen, man, it's June. Sometimes you're going to miss some news items.
Yeah.
But I'm just showing you this. I'm showing everybody this because you can't miss this stuff. These are the news items that really matter. Really matter. Now we're in LA. I wish there were also nude items, but news items, news items. I mean, and then it's like every few weeks, there's a handful of players where I've told the news desk, listen, we can't keep posting about Josh Downs. We can't keep Josh Downs to be featured. Josh Downs all over the place. Josh Downs. I'm like, listen, we got to mix it up. People get it. If you want to put an extra pull quote in an old news item, go ahead, just to further the point. But I can't have all these news. We can't be every other news item be about Josh Downs. Terrence Ferguson's getting to that place where I'm like, listen, guys, we can't do another Terrence Ferguson's being groomed or is where the upside is or who the coaches want to step up. But that's what we're hearing. Yeah. So there's certain guys like that I would call drumbeat players.
That's the exact word I would use. Yeah.
Right. So Trey Harris is a drumbeat player. Yep. Josh Downs is a drumbeat player. Terrence Ferguson is a drumbeat player. And you have to react to, again, because beat reporters don't really know anything and they're just leveraging access.
Mm-hmm.
When they come out and are saying, oh, make some ridiculous prediction about a player, I don't internalize that very heavily. But when you start hearing coaches singling out players in press conferences, and when a beat reporter sits down and does like a fulsome review of the team, and hey, I went to all the practices, or I was at most of the practices, and Isaiah Bond is getting all the targets. Like, is another drumbeat player.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, that is a data point we need to process, and it's got to matter. It does matter, and so we're going to make it matter, and it's going to be reflected in the projections. Like in our projections, Isaiah Bond's target share for 2026 Cleveland Browns continues to escalate.
Yeah.
And if you disagree with that, please feel free. Put it in the comments. Disagree. Tell me why that's not true, or email me, podfather@rotowonderworld.com. I'm happy to know why you think that's the wrong approach. Why you need to lock in what you think the target shares are going to be for every player in March, and nothing that anyone says publicly matters, or no observations from camp matter. No, actually they do. They do. They do matter. But if it's a coach quote, it matters more than a beat reporter quote.
Absolutely.
And if it's a beat reporter observation that is backed up by other beat reporters, that is essentially statistical. If it is a statistical observation from multiple beat reporters, like, for example, Isaiah Bond's target share in practice, that means more than a beat reporter prediction.
Yeah, correct.
Like just a feeling, right? So I'm always on the lookout for data from practice, and I'm always on the lookout for players coaches are singling out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just one that kind of just went over my head, man. But yeah, like, especially given his value this year, like, you don't have to reach for a tight end if you miss out on one of the top 3 or 4 guys. Like, I like it a lot. There's a lot to like, good offense, young guy, like you said, explosive. Like, and if he gets worked in enough to like start taking over a bigger chunk of that role, like, it's the opportunity is there to be a top 10 tight end. And there's not that many that you can feel confident with that are going to be, reliable output all year long.
Yeah. There's only a handful of pure upside tight ends that are not rookies. It's like Elijah Arroyo, but he actually has a more difficult path with AJ Barner in front of him than Terrence Ferguson does with Tyler Higbee and Colby Parkinson.
He's right on age.
Yeah. So it's like I'm looking for upside at the tight end position, because sometimes I'm in a tight end premium league and I just miss out on Tyler Warren and Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
So if I miss out on Tyler Warren and Brock Bowers, I tend to just wait. I'm not gonna get value trapped into.
I'll take one of the old white
Tucker
dudes in the 10th round
Kraft
and pair him with a rookie.
Sam Laporta. No thanks. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to pay up for those guys. No, even if it's tight end premium, no way. I'm staying out of the middle. So instead, what I'll try to do is I'll try to go Goddard Stowers and like Travis Kelce and Terrence Ferguson
and go Ferguson.
Ferguson. Yes, you go Ferguson. That's better. You go Ferguson.
Yep.
And then the Eagles tight ends. So I know I can plug in Goddard any given week and get a touchdown. I can plug in Ferguson any given week and get a bunch of catches
Yep.
and bank that for tight end premium leagues. Great. Get the production from a Ferguson, from a Goddard, and then Terrence Ferguson and a guy like Stowers, and then another rookie like Raritan or Oscar Delp. And then you get like you got, in that
Just
case, you have like a
swing.
core.
Yep.
You have like 3 upside tight ends. One's a rookie, one's a sophomore, or 2 are rookies, one's a sophomore. Then you have 2 much older players in their 30s who you know are just going to produce. Like, for example, there's vacated targets in Baltimore, especially vacated targets from the tight end position. So old dusty Mark Andrews probably has one more fantasy relevant season in him. We know that there's vacated targets in Philadelphia, don't we?
Yep.
So you can see Dallas Goedert. And we know Travis Kelce is Travis Kelce. If he's out there, like just like Cristiano Ronaldo, he's going to score goals. He's going to score touchdowns.
Yep.
He's going to command targets. So you can just completely stay out of the middle and get the guys on both ends of the age spectrum. That's my recommendation. If you don't go and move up to get the uber elite top 5, Tyler Warren, Brock Bowers, wait.
Yep.
Wait, let 10 rounds go by and then start to stockpile tight ends, get a nice nucleus of like 5 tight ends. And you can get
one out of there.
Yeah. Every week you're going to get one guy that you can trust to produce, but then you also have the future of the tight end position and a guy like Stowers, a guy like Delp, a guy like Terrence Ferguson.
Yeah. And now you got
we're going to be imagine the conversation. If he doesn't break out this year.
Yeah.
We could easily be having a conversation that's even more passionate and more certain about a breakout for Ferguson the following year.
Yeah.
It's not over yet, man.
To that point, like if we come back and he breaks out, he's going to go as a top 3 pick next year in drafts or top 4.
Imagine? Yeah, imagine that,
dude. Being on that offense with his profile and build. If he breaks out, he's going to go probably in the top 4 rounds.
I mean,
we're getting him here in the double-digit rounds in tight end if he breaks out. So I like the opportunity and the athletic upside.
Yeah, there's certainly touts of Max Clare in the chat. Max Clare is a rookie. So Max Clare's probably not going to produce this year any more than Elijah Arroyo produced last year. But the other problem is Max Clare is not athletic. Like Max Clare is at his best, it would be like a Jason Witten, Pat Freiermuth, Heath Miller comp tight end.
Yeah. Yep.
And for a guy that's not that athletic, it's such a tall order to become Jason Witten. Everything has to sort of fall into place. You have to be an incredible athlete in the ways that are not tied to explosiveness. That is just very rare. And so typically you're looking more like a Pat Freiermuth level profile. And again, that's a lower ceiling profile. And then a guy is a rookie. So he's with a low profile or a low ceiling profile.
Yeah.
I'm not that inspired by Max Clare. There are other guys like Oscar Delp and Eli Raritan that I'm more interested in rookie drafts, especially tight end premium.
Yeah.
And I am not using the fact they used a day 2 pick on Clare as a reason to get off Ferguson. When I look at that tight end room, I see one big time athlete at the position, and that just happens to be the one guy all the coaches want to siphon targets to and want to step up and be the leader of that tight end room. So that's the guy I'm drafting.
Yep. Agreed. I don't really have much to add on to it. I think it's well stated.
I'll get you out of here, buddy. You've been great, Steve.
I appreciate it, man. I'm down to do this all day. So
subscribe to your channel on YouTube.
Yep.
And
OG
having you part of the say again.
Said OG Fantasy Football. Yep. In case you forgot.
Having your podcast, part of our overall offering on the Player Profiler Network, get you more exposure, get your name out there. People need to know you.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. Hey, it's been great being here, man. Great talking to people. It's good to be like in a fantasy world, man. It's good to talk to people with like minds, and I'm excited. It's gonna be a good year. A lot of fantasy stuff happening.
When I first got started, because I'm such a nerd and I love spreadsheets.
Yeah.
There were hours and hours and hours I would spend just writing, calculating, compiling data, information, rankings, thoughts, analysis about fantasy football. And my wife would say, "Aren't you lonely?" And I was like, "Well, I wasn't until you mentioned it." Right? I was perfectly content to be in my own little fantasy number world. But now that you mention it, it would be nice to collaborate more.
Yeah.
And that helped inspire me to do the podcast. I was a little bit too much in my own head. And it just, at that moment, podcasting started to become, sort of a viable medium, and it made sense to start one. So whenever I see guys getting started that clearly have a good voice and a good approach and know what they're talking about, I'm like, let's jump on a show, man. If it goes 2 hours, it goes 2 hours. This one might go 2.5 hours.
I didn't realize 2 hours ago by. My wife came home from work. She's back here talking shit behind the microphone. So
what's she saying?
Stupid. All your nerd
fuck
stuff,
is she
your
saying?
Fantasy football. She won the league last year.
Who the fuck is she to say that?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
She Latina. Well, you might get bit back.
No. It's 2.5 hours. She'll never make it to the end of the show.
No, but we're good. No.
Yeah, she'll never hear this.
This is like a passion project, man. This is what we're trying to do. Set up in the living room, like trying to make this a full-time thing. So I appreciate being on. It's been a pleasure. And hopefully a first of many.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Give us a bold prediction.
Bold prediction. Oh, I had one too. Who is it?
Wait, you lost your bold prediction?
Yep, I lost it. Where'd it go?
No, you got to find it.
Oh, we'll find it. We'll get back here.
Oh, please find your bold prediction.
Oh, yeah. It's Cam Ward is a top 12 quarterback this year.
That's it?
Top 10? 12? Top 10?
I don't think that's hot enough.
No? I can go 6.
Here's what I would do. So because you're getting acclimated.
Yeah, get my
to
feet
the industry,
wet,
right? You're getting everything figured out. So these hot takes, the best way to do it is to not say top this, top that. What you want to do is you want to compare player X to player Y, because then you get double the passion.
Yeah.
Right. So you get people that are passionate about the player that you're saying is going to underwhelm. So you got Marvin Harrison Jr. fans, you got them mad at you, and you want that. You want to inspire the engagement. But then also you have the people, the Josh Downs fans, right? So you have Josh Downs fans are like, yeah. But instead of saying Josh Downs is going to be top 10, that's a tall order. It's really hard to finish top 10. But you know what's a hell of a lot easier? Is to put him ahead of someone that some people think could finish top 10. And then he only has to beat one guy. So you say Josh Downs will outproduce Marvin Harrison Jr. in fantasy football. That actually sounds more impressive.
Yeah.
Then he's going to be a top 20 receiver in fantasy football. But actually, it's easier for him to simply outproduce Marvin Harrison Jr. than it is for him to be a top 20 receiver. So rhetorically, it sounds better. It has more effect. And also, you're less likely to be wrong. And this is something I've learned with years of fantasy analysis experience. This is the reason why you come on the show, to learn these kinds of things. So while I've been filibustering, you've been thinking of a new, fresh, hot takeified opinion of Cam Ward. Or what is it?
Cam Ward will outperform Bo Nix this year. He will be a top 8 quarterback.
No, don't say that part.
He's going to outperform Bo Nix.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to PlayerProfiler.com. Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, data analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.